leadership courses through online and blended channels.
We champion ourselves in executive education that drives Africa's innovation.
Our foundation is based on the inspiration from ubiquitous African leaders like Nelson Mandela, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and Kwame Nkrumah.
The Institute offers curriculum deeply focused on cultivating leadership and places wisdom collected from indigenous African cultures and progressive philosophies at the center of its program.
Our leadership course includes Corporate Leadership Professional Course,
Professional Women's Leadership Course,
Philanthropic Leadership Professional Course,
Student and Youth Leadership Short Course,
Political Leadership Professional Course,
the Personal MBA Business Leadership Professional Course.
Whether you choose an online program or not, you will be interacting heavily with your fellow executives.
For those looking to accelerate or change their careers, we provide a rich exposure to your peers and the PALI alumni as you explore. PALI is worldwide, and our alumni is strong.
Visit us to enroll at www.panafricanleadership.institute. Simply fill an application form and proceed to greatness.
Contact us, info@panafricanleadership.institute, panafricanleadershipinst@gmail.com. Phone or WhatsApp, +233 55 353 87 80.
PALI is at it again.
What's PALI?
Are you kidding me?
How do you mean?
You don't know PALI.
Truly, I don't.
PALI is Pan-African Leadership Institute, a place where emerging leaders and captain of industries, academicians, and men and women from different spheres of life and from various nations are groomed, trained, polished, and networked for greater productivity.
Are you kidding me?
Truly, I am not.
Where can I find information about this noble institution?
You can find it at www.panafricanleadership.institute from anywhere around the world.
Did I hear you say anywhere in the world?
Yes, PALI has graduates from various courses from over 45 nations of the world in 5 continents, and the institute is cost-friendly and time-intensive friendly, majority online.
Wow, that means I have been missing.
Not really. PALI got you covered all through the year. PALI runs various courses.
I am glad I now know. Let me check the available course and immediately register.
You would be glad you did. In PALI, we have a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with others, and can also reach their admin via this WhatsApp number +2 3 5 5 3 5 3 8 7 8 0.
Thanks for this information. PALI, here I come.
And it's a very big hello. It's good to see all of you amazing leaders from all over the world. Well, I see many incredible PALI faces here, and I'm just giving you hacks. These are called virtual hacks all around the world. Good to see you, and thank you, and welcome back home to PALI. What a great day we're gonna have. What an amazing day that is going to unfold. Let me just share my screen, and then I'll just do some little introduction about PALI for those that are joining us for the first time. And then we're going to be quick, not too much talking from me. We're just going to be listening, engaging, and connecting. It's time to remind your friends and loved ones to jump on and partake of this incredible time together.
PALI.
Okay, distinguished leaders, for those who are new here at PALI, PALI was established in 2020 and started running its courses in 2021. The vision of PALI is to see an Africa and a world that is led by holistic, entrepreneurial, and conscientious leaders in all sectors of society. Leaders who truly serve, develop, and maximize the potentials of people for a prosperous, progressive, and peaceful world. courses are blended or run online, and our programs are world-class, as you will experience today. We do have alumni in more than 47 countries now, across Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, North America, South America, Middle East, as well as Asia. At PALI, our word for leadership is Ubuntu. It's the African worldview that is translated as I am because you are. And our symbol of leadership is the Siamese crocodile, which is an African worldview as well. And it's an African symbol of two crocodiles joined together in the tummy. And if you are two crocodiles with one stomach, why would you fight over food? And that is the predicament of humanity. We're all one human family, and yet we fight over too many things. Whether it's the leaders or the people or different cultures, there's too much conflict. If we see ourselves as eating into one stomach, it will be a more peaceful and progressive world. Here at PALI, all our courses are built on 7 solid pillars, which includes wisdom, innovation, people skills and service, excellence, cross-cultural intelligence, character, and context. And today, we're going to be enjoying what we mean by cross-cultural intelligence. So just be ready to learn, unlearn, and we're going to grow together. So what's the agenda for today? We're going to be doing some self-introductions so leaders around the world can get to know you. We're going to break out into some breakout sessions for networking. We're going to be receiving a poetry. And then we're going to be learning about cultural perspectives from senior leaders all over the world to radically enhance our cross-cultural intelligence. And of course, there will be time to ask and answer questions. At this time, I want to especially welcome, on behalf of our governing council, I'd like to especially welcome our guests who are joining us for the first time. Welcome our PALI global alumni community. Welcome our amazing global ambassadors, traditional leaders here as part of PALI alumni or joining us for the first time. Welcome our faculty and adjunct faculty joining us from around the world, as well as our executive students. Please kindly mute your microphone, and when you need to speak, we will let you speak. Okay, so let's start first with our anthem. We have 2 anthems at PALI, and we're going to be doing our more formal anthem. This song is a Pan-African song, and versions of it have been adopted by several nations across Africa as part of their anthems. It's sung in the Xhosa language of South Africa, in Nkosikelele, Africa. And in English, it says, Lord, bless Africa. May her horn rise high up and hear our prayers. Bless our chiefs. May they remember their creator, fear him and revere him. Bless the public men. Bless also the youth, that they may serve their nations with patience. Bless the wives and also all the young women. Bless the ministers of faith of all religions on this continent. Endue them with your spirit. Bless our agriculture and livestock, banish famine and diseases, fill the land with good health and bless it. Bless our efforts of union, of self-reliance, of education and mutual understanding. God bless Africa. Distinguished leaders, let's enjoy our anthem as we get on to the rest of our time together. Thank you.
Of
Don't you just love this anthem? You may want to go in the chat room and say, God bless Africa and God bless the world. God bless Africa. That's what the anthem says, sung by the Stellenbosch University Choir in South Africa. God bless Africa. Distinguished leaders, Africa is such a spiritual continent. So we kick off class with a prayer, and I'm going to just ask one of our alumni, one of our ambassadors, to say a prayer for us. So I'm just going to put someone on the spot. Any ambassador can volunteer. Maybe Ambassador Cordell, do you want to do a quick prayer for us to start? Ambassador Cordell or Ambassador Farai may kindly just kick off with a quick prayer for us. Africa is a spiritual continent, so we just need to. Thank you, Ambassador Cordell. I'm going to unmute you. You can unmute yourself now, please.
All right. Okay, let us pray. Dear God, I want to thank you along with all of us that are on this meeting today for bringing us all together for your divine connection and your divine assignment on this noble institution. We thank you for all the opportunities that have been bestowed upon all of us as we stay connected to the PALI network. We thank you for the strength of the team, the leaders of this institution, the insight, the vision. We thank you, Lord, for the continued blessings and inspiration that we've garnered since being connected to this network. And we pray that as we continue to collaborate and network, that we will continue to grow from strength to strength. We pray that everything that is done here is done according to your will, and that coming out of this will be that much more inspired, that much more connected, and that much more determined to make an impact and to bring significance to Africa and to all across the world. So in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Very big amen. Thank you so much, Ambassador Cordell. We're going to be introducing you later on. Of course, our prayer was supposed to have been said by Mr. Chadwick Hasling from Jamaica, and I couldn't see him, but I can see him on, and so I have to do him the honors and have Mr. Chadwick Hasling, one of our wonderful PALI alumni in Jamaica. We're going to allow you to say something, sir. Couldn't find you during the prayer time because you're going to say that. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Hasling. He is an accountant. He is a restaurateur in the beautiful nation of Jamaica. Mr. Chadwick, are you able to unmute yourself? Hello? All right. Okay. All right, let's carry on. Let's carry on.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, Chadwick.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Where I am is a bit noisy, that's why. So I didn't catch a little bit of what you said a while ago. Could you repeat?
That's right. That's right. Madame Cordell did your job for you because we couldn't see you, but we just wanted you to give a big shout out to the PALI alumni family.
Okay. Just want to thank you guys for inviting, first of all. It's a pleasure to be here amongst my peers. PALI has impacted my life greatly. You know, the courses that you guys provide have been significant towards my growth and development as an executive leader in Jamaica. And I just want to big up Africa, big up PALI, and bless you. Thank you guys again, and I'm looking forward to listening in on the rest of the session too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Chadwick. And before we introduce Ambassador who's doing the welcoming for us, the formal welcoming, we want to say a big Emancipation Day to all the Caribbean. I don't know whether we say Happy Emancipation Day. Yes, it has to be Happy Emancipation Day. where all across the Caribbean, they remember their history, and it's been an incredible week in the Caribbean. All right, we do have a wonderful Caribbean lady who is the CEO of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries in Trinidad and Tobago, and she serves as a PALI ambassador, and she will do the formal welcoming for us. So in the chat room, you want to say welcome, welcome Vashti, welcome Vashti. Thank you. One sec as we unmute you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. It is indeed a privilege to deliver the opening remarks today. In the 21st century, the ability to navigate and embrace diverse cultures has become a vital skill for emerging leaders. Our world is increasingly interconnected, and the challenges we face are complex and global in nature. Therefore, developing cross-cultural intelligence is not just beneficial, it is essential. This is why I must congratulate PALI for organizing this session today. Dr. Kofi and PALI is equipping us to become more effective leaders. Additionally, I must preface this by stating that I come from a multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multi-religious country that was described by Archbishop Desmond Tutu as a rainbow nation. That is the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The average Trinidadian participates in everyone's religious festivals and cultural activities. This has led us to have a deeper understanding of our fellow citizens. David Rudder, one of our best calypsonians of this era, stated it best in song. And if you would bear with me, his song, Ganges Meet the Niles, and I quote, "Once upon a time, there was a magic island full of magic people. Let me tell you a story about their pain and their glory. Oh yeah, many rivers flow to this naked isle, bringing fear and pain, but also a brand new style. And of all these rivers that shape this land, two mighty ones move like a sculptor's hand. And today, those hands across the land, they still man landscaping. And there's no doubt we go work it out. There is no escaping. See how we moving. Watch how we grooving. See how we step in style. One lovely nation under a groove. The Ganges, come meet the Nile." Cross-cultural intelligence is the capacity to relate and work effectively across cultures. It involves recognizing and respecting cultural differences, understanding how these differences impact behavior and decision-making, and using this understanding to build stronger, more effective relationships. In an era where collaboration spans continents, this ability is a cornerstone of leadership. For emerging leaders, cross-cultural intelligence is particularly important. It equips you to, one, foster inclusive environments. Leaders with cross-cultural intelligence create workplaces and communities where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their background. Secondly, enhance communication. Effective communication is the bedrock of leadership. Understanding cultural nuances improves your ability to convey messages and interpret feedback accurately. Thirdly, it drives innovation. Diverse perspectives fuel creativity and innovation. Leaders who embrace cultural diversity are better positioned to inspire novel solutions and drive progress. And finally, it helps build global networks. In a globalized world, the ability to connect and collaborate across borders is crucial. Cross-cultural intelligence expands your network and opens doors to new opportunities. In closing, thank you, and I look forward to an enlightening and enriching discussion with all of you. And as David Rudder alluded, many cultures brings a brand new style. Also, stay tuned for more collaborations between PALI, the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, and the Caribbean Women in Trade as we move to build bridges between the Caribbean and Africa.
What an awesome speech, all the way from the Twin Island of Trinidad and Tobago, from our ambassador in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, Vashti. What an awesome speech. What do you say in the chat room to Vashti, distinguished leaders? All right, let's get a conversation going. It's getting exciting at every stage of this time together. So let's do this. But as we're doing this, we just want to encourage you, get on social media and invite your friends who are not yet here so they don't miss out. So we want to start with one of our famous African proverbs, and it's going to help us also introduce ourselves. What do you think about this wise saying from Africa? What do you think about this? If you have not been outside of your home, you should not say that your mother's soup is the best in the world. What do you think about this? And so you want to say your name, your country of residence, and what do you think about this wise saying from Africa? What do you think it means? What do you think it has to speak to us today? Is there wisdom in this, or is it just a common saying? So you may use the chat room or put up your hand and then just share something. We just have about 7 minutes to do this. So put up your right hand. You want to be fast and you want to share your perspective on this. Who's going first? What do you think? Shanique, are you going? Okay, all right. Yes, Aved, please. Aved from Jamaica. Unmute yourself and speak. And I think at this stage, our admin can allow anyone to unmute, please. Aved, please.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Ashani Queller from Jamaica, Manchester.
Go ahead.
What
yes.
this is saying, this proverb is saying that if you don't know other person's experiences, you can't judge your own. You have to have other experiences to match with other experiences before you come.
Brilliant, thanks. Maria Lygia.
Thank you. I can go next.
Yes.
Yes. Hi. So happy to be here. So my name is Lygia. I'm from Brazil. This is my country. And I so much agree with this. And I think everybody should put this in mind these days, because people are talking so much about others and they don't have experience with others. They have never walked on other people's shoes. They never have eaten other people's soup. And people are really messing around. So I totally agree with it. Thank you.
Doctor, did you get my comment?
Yes, Aved, please go for it.
Yes. I think it's a very pointed proverb, and it's very insular. Don't have a frame of reference. How can you make that statement?
Powerful, very powerful. Carry on.
Yes.
Aved, you didn't introduce yourself. So it's a time to.
I'm Arbit Henry from Jamaica.
Awesome. Project management, I think professional from Jamaica. So please use the chat room as well. And when you're speaking, introduce yourself, put your LinkedIn in the chat room so people can connect with you. Professor Isaias, please, from Mozambique. Do you want to speak, Prof?
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. And I just want to say that if you do not have a wide transcultural experience and you have seen how other people act, don't be quick to make judgments and don't try to praise yourself, but be mindful that there are other perspectives before you rush into emulating oneself.
Amazing, Prof. Please tell us a bit about you. We're getting to know each other. We're networking.
I'm Isaias Wayani. Isaías Swahili from Mozambique. Actually, I've connected with Ligia by WhatsApp. It's good to see her there. So I want just to thank God for the opportunity to interact with you all. But I'm in deputation in the USA, so I won't be able to stay all the program. And have a great day.
Thank you, Prof. Yes, Mr. Beecham from Nigeria, you want to share your thoughts on this? Then we go to Dr. Kankam. Unmute yourself, Mr. Beecham, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Coffee. My perspective on this proverb is about empathy. You need to see the world from the other people. If you cannot step into other people's shoes to see the world, then you are just limited in your own corner. So my perspective about this proverb is on empathy. Thank you very much.
Incredible, sir, incredible. All right, Dr. Kankam, please.
Hello, yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity. What the proverb means simply is that do not make haste in concluding on your situation until you have had experience of other situations. So the fact that you have tasted your mother's soup and it tastes good does not mean it is the best. It may be good, but not the best. It may be worse. And so you need to taste other experiences for you to make a conclusion of your own situation. And so it encourages us that we should be open-minded, to other situations and not be narrow-minded. My name is Isaac Kankambodu, and I'm the country director for ADRA Ghana. Thank you, Doc. And I hope I'm going to enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. Are you sure your mother is going to be happy hearing what you're saying? All right, let's go to Kenya to Mrs. Inchino. Unmute yourself, Madam. Unmute yourself. We take two more.
Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Masingeno from Kenya. My perception about the saying is I think it emphasizes more on the value of exploring beyond one's environment. And what comes to my mind is about networking. Should not limit ourselves to what we know, but rather go beyond, explore, and network with others. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you so much. Well, let's take the final one from Mrs. Janet Harrison Cousins, please, from the UK.
Hello, thank you. I'm in the UK at the moment, but from Jamaica. Well, welcome. Hi, everyone. Are you hearing me clearly though?
Very clear.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. My interpretation is that it's encouraging people to broaden their horizons, to try new things and gain more experience before making judgments or claims about what's best. And I think it's also a reminder to be humble and to recognize that there may be other excellent options or perspectives beyond what we know and we love. Thank you.
Very well said, very well said. The very final one, Mr. Jawula, please, you want to share your thoughts and then we switch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jawula, a student in Ghana. Actually, my perspective, I want to talk about the leadership and motivation. It tells us as a person, you need to be motivated by what people do around. Maybe you may be the best, but not, you may be good, but not the best. But learn other people, ideology and experiences, you can improve yours and become the best. That's what I want to put.
Beautiful. Thank you. Very well said. Well said. Well said. Okay, so we're going to get into a quick breakout before we hear the big speeches. So I have a big question for you. We have a big question for you. If you were not from your country, what other country in Africa or elsewhere in the world would you want to come from and why? If you were not from your country, what other country in Africa or elsewhere in the world would you want to come from and why? We're going to do this in a breakout session. So you're going to be in a small group of about 5 people, and we're going to be there. The purpose is to get to know somebody. You're going to be meeting someone you probably have never met before. We have already learned about tasting other soups. And so when you get there, please don't wait. Be the first to start speaking. Mention your name, your country, what you do, and then answer this question. If you were not from your country, what other country in the world would you want to come from and why? All right, so when we're back, we want to hear from the different groups where you spend time in. So stay glued, look on your device. You're going to see a number pop up and then a prompt pop up. You just have to accept it and it will take you there. You're going to be doing this for about 12 minutes, 15 minutes. So spend time getting to know each other, and then we're going to be back. Okay. Okay. So please accept it on your screen, on your device. Accept and join your group and start speaking right away. Wonderful. I see people going into their groups. Good. I can't wait to hear the countries. Okay, we have 29 people still here. Let me push some people out if they can't find their way.
Reverend Dr. Kofi Kusi, we are still here because we can't get onto the breakout.
Oh, one sec. Sorry. Okay, one sec. We still have 20 people here. Madam Selma, okay, 19. Let me take someone to 19. Selma, are you good?
Yes, Dr. Kofi, I'm well, thank you.
Awesome.
I was in 19 and then I don't know what happened.
Okay, all right, so what we're gonna do is those still here, we have 20 people still here. Oh, let's do it here. So you want to start? You want to start? Somebody want to go first? So those who haven't found their way out, you're still here, so go ahead and look at all your Namibian costume. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're coming to Namibia. Go ahead.
Yes, this is marketing for Namibia.
I know. So if you are not from Namibia,
so I
which other country would you?
Yes, I'm actually very, very lucky to be from more than one country. So I still choose my other country. So I am from Namibia, but I am also from Angola. So I would choose to be from Angola if I was not from Namibia. Only because I really do appreciate and understand the beauty of both countries. And they're both very interesting and diverse in their own ways. I am a an entrepreneur, and I'm also working as a consultant on a sustainability project. So I'm a sustainability strategist. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Beautiful, beautiful. Who's going next? Who's going next? We're here to network and get to know each other. So who's going next? Hello, Mr. Adewale. We have Pastor Akan, our alumni. Hello.
I can hear you, Dr. Kofi. I don't know why no one is speaking.
Yes. Reverend Solomon, your microphone went off. Do you want to speak? And Ambassador Green.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
I just joined.
You just joined.
I just joined.
That's fine. We're in a breakout.
Yes.
We're in a breakout, and then we have the question: if you were not from your country, what other country in Africa or elsewhere would you want to come from, and why? First, introduce yourself. First, introduce yourself, and then answer.
All right. I am Reverend Green Albert from Nigeria. If I am not from Nigeria, well, I precisely would have loved to come from Ghana.
Why?
I've associated with a few Ghanaians and a few people from many other countries in Africa. I think I chose the lifestyle of the few Ghanaians I've associated with. I don't know if I am generalizing. All of them have been good, and all of them have this same kind of mindset that is not myopic. They have this global worldview of everything. So that makes me believe that Ghanaians live a better and a simple life. And my relationship with them has been this uncompromised and unbiased relationship. Because I choose relationship in life over every other thing. That's my reason.
We've heard you, sir. All right. Thank you, Ambassador Green. Who else is going to introduce yourself? We're here. We're networking. People are in different groups. We have more than 20 groups. And this is our group here. So you want to answer the question? Yes. Yes. Yes, Motampo, please. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me? Everyone. My name is I'm also Reverend Mpamo Tapo. I'm South African, though I'm currently in Lesotho. I just got here yesterday. And if I were to choose any other country, it'll be Mali in Northwest Africa.
Interesting.
Because it's an African country where the first university in the world is, and apart from them speaking French, I would want them to speak so that they could start catching up with the rest of the world. I mean, they were the first country with civilization apart from Egypt, yet they are still where they were 100 years ago. So I would help them speed up and catch up with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing. And good to see you back at PALI. All right, Mr. Lawrence, please, Chakera.
My name is Lawrence Shakira. I'm from Zimbabwe. My profession, I'm a safety and health environment officer. The country that I would like to choose to reside is South Africa. The reasons is South Africa is a hyper country whereby most African personalities flock to. So there's number one, there's interaction of different background. And also, if I would look at the crime rate, I would like to maybe make an impact in also assisting to reduce the impact rate from there, the crime rate from there.
Amazing, very well said. Did you tell us a bit about your work very quickly? What you do?
My work, I supervise and I make sure that every workplace environment is safe and clean.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, let's take maybe two more. Our time is running out, so it's your chance to introduce yourself and tell the world who you are. If you can turn your video on, it helps. Who next, please? Who's next? Yes, from Nigeria.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. From Nigeria, good evening, everyone. My name is Ebru Chibanito, and I happen to be the Executive Director at the Integrated Institute of Professional Management here in Abuja. And this discussion just reminded me of decades ago. I think when I was still in primary school. And one day I told my father that I would like to be the president of Africa. And he told me that Africa wasn't a country to be president. And I was like, I don't care whether he has a president or not. If he doesn't have a president, then that means I'm going to be the first president of Africa. And that was just an expression of my love for Africa. It has been like that over the years. I've not traveled much around Africa, but I think my inclination has been towards the Kenyans. I feel they are quite innovative in their approach to life. They have creative inclinations, and I love creative leadership. I think that's one of the things that have pushed me towards them. I love Ghanaians too, because I've worked a lot with them. Just like Reverend Green said, they're open-minded and they are free will people. So if you ask me, I would say I would like to, I would just love to be an African. Any part of Africa, I'll be great with that. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. A very final one, because it's about a minute left. Who wants to catch this final boat? Yes, it will be Mrs. Green. Your microphone is out.
My name is Mrs. Green. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a food scientist by profession. I'm from Nigeria, and I would still love to, apart from being in Nigeria, I would love to be a Nigerian. From where I come from, I'm from the Igbo tribe. I would still love to be from the Igbo tribe. Nigerians are, in general, are open-minded people. The country at large has everything it takes to survive the world or to survive the time, both the intellectual, the well-to-do, the mineral resources, the accommodation, and civilization, aside the governance. So, but apart from Nigeria, I also love Rwanda. I've not been there, but from what I see and hear of them, I would love to one day go there and become part of them. Thank you.
Very well said. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're going back right now. We have a few seconds, 43 seconds. Anybody wants to catch that wind? Say something about yourself. 43 seconds, 30 seconds to go. Well, thank you all for sharing.
Hello.
Yes, good to see you, sir.
Should I go ahead?
22 seconds, please.
I'm happy.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Andrew Steele. I'm Andrew Steele from Jamaica.
Awesome.
And I've visited Africa a number of times, and I think I would choose Ghana.
And the reason? Okay, wait.
Yeah, Ghana is top of the chart here. Yeah.
It just feels like that's where we're from.
Because of your ancestral roots.
It feels so much Jamaican. Yes, ancestral roots, yes.
All right, we're back home. All right, we're back home, so we get everyone muted. Excellent. All right, wonderful leaders. Welcome back home, back to the plenary. Before we move to the next stage, do you want to share what happened in your group? We were stuck in the main session, so wherever you went, anybody wants to share something interesting that came up?
Yes, yeah, Dr. Kofi, thank you. Yeah, Ghana, it seems Ghana is topping the chart. In my breakout room, out of 4, we have 3 or 2 that wants to be from Ghana.
I'm sure.
So Ghana is topping the chart here now.
Maybe that could be just your group. Anyone from another group, not just a country, but any lesson you got from that conversation there?
Yeah, can I speak?
Yes, sir.
This is Bright from Ghana. Yeah, thank you. And we had an amazing time. We're also 4. We had 1 person from Uganda, 1 person from Botswana, and 2 people from Ghana. And each person chose another country. It's only 1 person that chose Ghana. So if we're 4 and 1 person chose Ghana and 2 were already Ghanaian, that means we had 3 Ghana interests. But then one more lesson that was very interesting is before we break back to the main class, we advise everybody to put their email in the chat box. So we copy each other's email so we could connect after the.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, a very final one from another group, and then we carry on. Very final one from another group. Yes, Jeanette, how was your group?
Same group as Amos. But what I found that was unusual, well, not unusual, what was profound was that everyone spoke about PALI and how PALI had changed their lives, made better versions of ourselves, and how we encourage others also, if they get the opportunity, that they must jump on the bandwagon and take courses through PALI, because it's really enriched our lives. So that was a topic at the end.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And thank you for sharing. All right. Are you ready? Well, I think we should zoom straight into this session that will tie very closely to this. After that, we do a quick commercial break, and then we go to our ambassadors. So let me do this very quick. Get ready. Just get ready. Taking a deep breath and get ready. Distinguished leaders, today we're here to network, to learn about each other, and of course, to get deeper and deeper into cross-cultural intelligence. This lady is a communications and international development professional for more than 15 years. She's not here to just talk about other cultures. She has visited more than 50 countries for education, tourism, and business. She has a passion for traveling the world, as she sees the world as her oyster. Her professional expertise includes strategic communications, business relations, political analysis, human rights, and international development. She is the managing director of LRT's Media and Business Solutions. We're going back to the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. I learned from her that she's from Tobago and not just Trinidad and Tobago. Anyway, in the person of Mrs. Latoya Roberts Thomas, she's going to deliver our key session on cross-cultural intelligence. Let's listen to Latoya, please.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I am not allowed to share screen, so
you can share your screen.
Can you share for me or allow me to?
How has your travels to 50 nations been like?
It's been tiring, but also interesting because it's a learning process. And my presentation today really speaks to helping us understand about intercultural communication. I'm just waiting for the slide to come up, so just give me a minute. But I'm really happy to talk to you and tell you a bit about my travels. And in the presentation, I'm using examples from different countries that I've been to and what I learned while there. So just give me 1 minute. It seemed that there was a delay. Okay, let me try to share again now.
And just to
Please
add,
tell me if you can see the screen now.
Yes, just to add, Latoya is also a PALI
Yes.
alumni. Go ahead.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So glad to be here to share a lot about myself. Even though I've been to 50 countries, I'm still young, still open to learning and really sharing with others. So today we're going to talk about embrace communications as part of the session being about us having cultural intelligence. So just for us to set the theoretical framework, today we're talking about intercultural communications, and it's really the idea of knowing how to communicate in different parts of the world. And there are many different theories and understandings. We're not going to go too much into the theories, but it's about a group of people really having an understanding that cultural diversity exists. And because cultural diversity exists, it brings a hope that you're going to learn, you're going to interact, you're going to be with different people from different cultures and different places as you enjoy life. And the first image I have on this side is, I don't know if anybody could guess which country this is. Anybody by chance knows? If you see a McDonald's and the McDonald's is clasped, the McDonald's is clasping his hand and slightly bowing, what country you might be able to ascribe to or probably know that representation of McDonald's
India.
is from? Anybody? Somebody's saying India. Close guess, but not quite. Guys?
Well, we have
Japan. China.
Okay, I'm here in China. Not close yet. We get to there. We want anybody else?
Korea.
Nope, not
Korea.
Japan. Yeah, no. Not Korea, not Indonesia. I'll give a few more tries.
Thailand.
I'm hearing somebody saying the correct answer. It's actually
Thailand.
Thailand. So, yes, so in Thailand, the way how they greet persons is called the Thai Wai, and it's where you clasp your hands together like this and you slightly bow, and they will say like Sawadika, meaning like hello. So Thailand, you're gonna see the McDonald's being displayed like that. As yes, McDonald's is a global brand, you can find McDonald's everywhere, but they're also very much aware of the nuances of the Thai people, the Thai culture, and felt, I guess, it was a good marketing gesture to have, even though there are global brands in different parts of the world, you may be able to find that similar connect as a friendly greeting. So yes, it is Thailand. So if you do visit, you'll see McDonald's like that. So let's get into some tips. I'm going to speak about 7 tips in which I believe are useful tools, useful ways in which you could communicate with persons. So first thing, when you're dealing with intercultural communication, you need to overcome your nervousness or fear to communicate with others. So I went to Agra in India to see the Taj Mahal. And while there, I saw these dress, and I felt like, wow, I needed to have a picture with these people. But I was shy. I was nervous. And at first, I was only going to approach one officer to have a photo. But you know, as soon as I started to engage with one officer, he was so friendly that the others came and joined together for the photo. And the lesson I learned there was, at first I was so afraid. I was a bit worried. Next thing you know, I'm not supposed to talk to police officers. They may not want to take the photo with me. Maybe they're strict, and I was at first I was really coward. I was really frightened, and then I went across and just started that communication. I got this overwhelming. It's so wonderful that they were so friendly and willing to talk to me and take photos with me. And many times in life, because somebody seems different or you're in a different country, you may not want to approach the person. You may not want to say anything because you have this fear or nervousness that it's not the right time to communicate. It's not the right time to talk to the person. But sometimes it's good to really overcome that nervousness, that fear, and really reach out and see what is the end result. Maybe it might be excellent like me that you get a photo with not only one, but many of the officers. You never know until you try. I agree with that, Giselle. Thank you. My next tip is willingness to learn about other cultures. Do your research. And this photo is actually me in South Africa, in Soweto. And, I visited South Africa maybe 5 years ago to do a piece of work there. And it's always good to research about the country that you're going, understand the culture, language, or willingness to learn some fun fact or information about where you're going. It is really not useful or even professional if you are so caged up that you're not willing to research or learn. Sometimes it's about just going and Google something, watching a YouTube video, embracing yourself in language studies, embracing yourself in a cooking class to appreciate some part of the culture through food, or engaging yourself in some sort of hobby or activity that is aligned with another culture. And once you are willing to learn about the other culture and do your research, it really helps you to break the ice as you communicate across cultures, communicate across boundaries. Never be too ignorant. It's not okay to not know. Yes, it's understandable that you would not know everything about a culture, but you will have to make the effort to research and learn as you communicate and you interact with people in different spaces and times and places. My next advice to you is observe. Observing is really key when you're visiting a foreign territory, when you're dealing with persons from diverse backgrounds, because many things are not said, but you can look at it and you can appreciate the beauty around you. So in this picture, this was my first experience actually at an oasis. And an oasis is usually like a desert area, and then there is a lake or water place, and then a community is built around it. And this is in a place called Wakachima in Peru. And it was my first time. I'm from the islands. I'm from the Caribbean in Trinidad and Tobago. All I know is sea and beach and water, and I know plenty sand, but I've never seen sand situated in this environment like a desert with an oasis. And it was really good to observe their way of life, how they balance living around a very deserted, arid, very hot and barren place, but there is still one source of water, and how they have built life and that community around it. So when you're doing cross-cultural communication, when you're dealing with people, whether it's a business, whether it's a tourism, whether it's just observing persons, you can just look at your environment. It might be totally different from what you're accustomed to at home. It might be different from what you understand as your normal, comfortable environment. But when you look at how people interact and you observe how their lifestyle is and what they do for their daily living, then you may see similarities and differences between your culture and your familiarity and what they are doing for their lifestyle. So definitely take the opportunity to observe, and you will learn so much by just being observant in a place. So next, I want to encourage us to consider be tolerant. Tolerance it's not natural. I don't think people just naturally are tolerant, but I think with time you get to appreciate, you get to build understanding, and then you are able to say, this is not the way I do things, or this is not what I am commonly used to, or this is not what I know to be, but I am willing to learn and be willing to understand, even if you don't 100% believe or ascribe to a certain value, or you won't do it yourself. Just be tolerant of what somebody else may be doing at the point in time. And this is really important because as human beings, I think a lot of conflict happens all over the world, across different cultures, across different countries, just because we have lost the ability to be tolerant, to understand that there are differences, and the way that I will conduct businesses will not be the way that somebody from a different part of the world will do it. The values that I subscribe to myself and the things that I will do as a human may not be the same values that somebody else will do. But it is still important to understand we are all in this world. We all share in the same space, and we have to embrace the difference, accept the differences, as Mercy is saying, and be tolerant that when somebody does something different from you, you are not extremely open to criticizing, to dragging it down, to making them feel as if they're a little different from you. So in this photo, I was actually, I believe, in Amsterdam, and I went to this cultural historical center, and it was really interesting just to see and understand the Europeans' perspective on certain things and how they're done. All wasn't in line with everything I believe or my values, but it was still me putting myself in their shoes and understanding a little bit. And yes, I did wear a traditional European costume as part of the experience that I had there. So you need to be tolerant as a person, as you engage in communication, as you do business across countries. It becomes very important. Be careful not to offend. And this is really important because when you are going to interact with people across different countries, you will try your best not to offend, but subtly there may be issues that you will do that became offensive. So I can give an example. This is me in Vietnam. And my experience in Vietnam was interesting because I went on this tour, and if you're familiar with the Vietnamese transportation system, about 2/3 of the country, about 90% of the household in Vietnam, their main mode of transportation is scooters. I'm coming from the Caribbean. I'm accustomed to driving in a car or walking. I don't know being in a scooter with 2 million people driving down the street. And the tour operator, they were like really casual, comfortable. I was hesitant. I did not want to get on that scooter. At first, I was so hesitant. I was so resistant. I was so like, why am I getting on this little scooter to go where? But eventually, I was able to open up. And I was able to say, you know what, majority of the people in the country, that is their main mode of transportation. That is how we're going to move from point A to B. And I was willing to lend myself to the process. I could have said, no, I'm not going. I'm just not going, and just shut it down. Obviously, personal choice, but I didn't want to be offensive to knowing that that was just the main mode of transportation. And when I tell you, about 90% of the persons in that country, they will move from point A to B via scooter. And in discussion with a lot of Vietnamese, it's not that some of them can't afford cars because there are households that have cars, but because of the traffic congestion and the situation, it is just easy to flow and move in the city in a scooter, and that is just the preferred choice. So it made me realize that I needed to do a little bit more research and understanding of how the transportation operates in that country, and don't think of it that they couldn't afford or it was a lesser mode of transportation in any way, but it was just their preferred choice. So when you're going to have business relationships with different people across cultural borders, when you're going to get into transactions with persons, try to understand the things, the little nuances that happen in that country, and then also try not to be offensive about remarks or gestures or things that happen in that cultural space. So be careful, do not offend. Next, be empathetic. Again, this is also a skill that you need to learn with time. Put yourself in person's shoes. Right before COVID, I had the opportunity to visit Jordan, and then I crossed the border on land into Palestine and then to Israel. And it was interesting to understand the transition. So I moved across 3 spaces in like a day and a half. And it was really interesting to understand life and what it means for a Jordanian versus the experience that I got when I crossed the border from the Jordanian side through Palestine on the West Bank. And then to now my experience on the Israel side, entering from the West Bank into Israel, into Jerusalem. And I had to be empathetic because especially when you're living in conflict zones and conflict territories, trying to understand cultures, trying to understand the reasons or justifications, whether it's political, whether it's spiritual, whether it's just happen over time and people just end up ascribing to values, it can be really, really confusing for somebody who have not lived that life, lived that territory, or have that experience. But at the end of the day, you could be empathetic, put yourself in someone else's shoes, see what they're going through, see what the Palestinians, because as a tourist, I was treated lovely going through the border crossing. There was no problems. But there I was also looking at how the Palestinians were being treated, seeing the perspective from the Israeli point of view, seeing the Jordanians, and I was just there looking on and saying, wow, what a cosmopolitan, cross-cultural, crazy world that could be, but also understanding that life exists and life has to go on, and being empathetic when you see someone in a situation. And what you can do sometimes is just allow the situation to solve itself, but be empathetic, knowing that there are different reasons why people they are the way they are, or the values that they're engaged in at the point in time. Next, I want to encourage us to keep communication very simple, be very specific. Imagine when you're communicating in your own language. If we are all English speakers and miscommunication happens in English because it's very over complex and it's very dynamic and people ascribe so many meanings to so many things. So imagine if you're communicating with somebody, you're English speaker and you're communicating with a French speaker and you're trying to understand their language, but you want to over complex the communication because you just think you need to say everything at that point in time. The best communication is very simple. If you go to France and you learn 5, 6, 10 phrases or words in French, you may not be able to string a whole sentence, but when you have very simple, direct key messages, the person who is listening on the other side will appreciate and understand. But when you start to come and make things very complex, very complicated, very difficult, best communication is to keep it simple. When you're dealing with different cultures, you want to have it very simple, very relaxed. Everybody's in a comfortable space. And as you become familiar with somebody and as relationships progress, then you can move it to complex. But when you're going to interact with somebody for the first time, keep it very simple. Simple is the key. And this photo, this is actually me. I lived in Japan for a few years. So I went to Kyoto. It's a very traditional based city in Japan. And I wanted to have that experience of the traditional lifestyle, the traditional dress of the Japanese, because I just had an interest to know what it meant like to live in this lifestyle, to dress the way, to understand the language, to understand the cultural differences in the Japanese community. But my Japanese was very negligible. I didn't know much Japanese at all. But when I got to the studio, I just was very simple in telling them what I wanted, and they did an excellent job. So keep your communication very simple and you will be great at it. Lastly, I want to remind everyone, with all the cultural differences, with all the cultural values, with all that happens, why we have 198 countries, is really we are all humans. Respect humanity. And this is me, I presented at the UN maybe about 8 years ago at an intercultural dialogue event. And we may speak different languages, we may be from different races, different colors, different cultural experiences, political experiences, but we are all humans. We all breathe the same air. We all, if you cut someone's hand, they will all bleed blood, hopefully. And at the end of the day, we are coexisting on this earth. So despite all the different language changes, cultural values, there are still commonalities. There are actually more commonalities, I believe, that make us humans. And once you have respect for humanity, once you understand the value of life, no matter the cultural differences and the cross-border differences, you will be able to reach out to that person and have a successful and meaningful relationship once those traditional values of respecting humanity is there. So I would like to close by thanking you so much for listening to this presentation. I'm sure these were just tips that we all already know and just reinforcing what we already know as we continue to appreciate cultural differences, where once we are continue to grow and support each other as we grow as a PALI family. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Oh my goodness, isn't this awesome? Isn't this awesome? All within the PALI network. So we don't have time, but we can take like 2 questions. And so kindly put up your hand so you can ask your question. My question to you, Latoya, is what was the motivation? What took you to 50 nations? It must have cost you a lot of money, a lot of fortune. What drove you? What got you? And question number 2, do you physically have to travel everywhere? Because one of the things I've seen is that people would want to travel, but for a lot of people, there's a financial issue. I mean, I have traveled half the world with $1 in my pocket. I have a whole story about that. And I have a book I'm writing on that one, but it's traveling around the world with $1, like half the world, $1. That's a different story. But anyway, do you actually have to physically travel to get all of these experiences? Those are my 2 questions. Let's take another 2 questions, and then we need to get our next ambassador to speak. Giselle from the UK.
Let me answer yours.
We'll take it all together, so kindly jot it down for us, and then
sure.
Yes, please. Miss Giselle.
Hi, thank you. So my question is, out of all the countries that you visited, that you've traveled to, which country or which 2 countries stood out the most for you and why?
Wonderful, thank you, Giselle. Let's go to Uganda, to our famous ambassador. Madam Josephine Karenji, please.
Dr. Kofi. Latoya, my question, very quick question. All the places you visited, have you faced any challenges with people not identifying with you, not appreciating who you are as an individual, where you come from, your skin color and all of that? And how have you dealt with that? Thank you.
Back to you, Latoya, please.
Thank you so much. Great. So I did not plan to travel to so many countries. It just so happened.
I think your video is
some
up,
opportunities.
if possible. Yep.
Oh, sorry. I didn't plan to travel to so many countries. I think it just happened coincidentally. First, it started off for tourism purposes, but then as I grew in my professional career, part of it included education. So I studied in Russia and I also studied in Spain. And then business purposes, I do international development consulting. So I end up working across Africa, across Asia, across Latin America, doing consultancies. So it just became a combination of tourism, business, and education. But I did not look on the world map and said, hey, I'm going to go to all countries in the world. That was never my objective at the point in time. The second question, Dr. Kofi, technology is key and people are moving to different parts of the world now. So I don't think in any way that you have to visit all countries in the world. Somebody may end up in your country and you learn about their culture from there. And then networks like these, having dialogues, looking at YouTube videos, just researching and learning about what is happening in different times and places and spaces is an opportunity to learn and share about what's happening in the world. If you do have the money and can visit many places, I do think it's a good experience. I do think that people who have visited other countries, lived in other spaces, they do have a different perspective and a global view as opposed to if you spent all your life in one country. Having those cultural exchanges in a different space, it does help broaden your horizon, but you do not have to visit to all countries in the world. The next question about, let me go to the last one about if negative experiences. I've had some. I felt I was very overwhelmed in China. In China, I have had experiences where persons wanted to take my photos because they thought I was a celebrity, probably because I'm black skin. I've also had persons come and literally rub my skin or pull my hair because I guess maybe it's their first time interaction with a foreigner or seeing someone of my race. So I've had those experiences. And at first it was shocking to me. And then with time, I understand that maybe they're just curious. Maybe it's the first encounter for them. But again, you need to know your tolerance level. So I might let 2 or 3 people take my photos. But by the time the 10th person, I'm tired, I'm worn out. I don't want any more photos of me taken. So you have to know what you're willing to give or experience it in your travel. But yes, I've had the pulling hair, the rubbing of the skin, people asking me really weird questions like, am I real? So it does happen. And lastly, I do think that traveling, learning about cultures is a great human life experience, and it teaches you so much about yourself in the process. And I have grown and matured as a person because of all these different little places that I've been to. I take a little part of the experience with me, and that has molded me to be who I am today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Just the final question they answer. Which of the countries, from Giselle, which of the countries?
Right.
For that? Yep.
I don't know, but I have this really big affinity to Japan. I really, really, really love Japan. Like I was telling my breakout group, like I've just come to appreciate the traditional lifestyle that I can get, along with the modernism that I can get all in one place. It's really an interesting experience.
Konnichiwa. Arigato gozaimasu. All right. Distinguished leaders, let's get one quick volunteer just to pop up your hand and you feel like this has really been very helpful to you. Just help us say thank you, because at PALI, we don't take gratitude for granted. We need someone to lead a whole village to say thank you to Latoya, and we would prefer like a volunteer. Anyone in class right now, anyone on this forum right now wants to say like big thank you on our behalf? Very quickly, pop up your hand. Oh, it's Mr. Tawanda speaking.
Yes, sir.
Well, he just launched an amazing leadership book. Please lead us, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kofi. Thank you so much, Madam Latoya. Thank you so much for the presentation. You opened our eyes to be open-minded as we converse and relate with people from different and diverse backgrounds other than the ones that we are used to. You also opened our eyes that it is possible to relate with everyone, no matter where you go. Thank you for all the points that you have raised for us. We are so grateful. And on behalf of all the students here and all the leaders here, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Dr. Kofi.
And very well said. Very well said. Please let's do the chat room and say a big thank you again to Latoya, our PALI alumni, for sharing those great insights. And I see all of us traveling around the world, just to experience the world. And let me just give one little tip. I mean, how do you travel around the world without a world map? You know, if you don't have a world map, I think you're not prepared to travel around the world. So get yourself a world map and look at it every day. And you never know, something is going to be happening to you. All right. Okay. So I'm going to invite our first ambassador from Barbados, Madam Alicia, and all our ambassadors are going to be sharing a lot of wisdom for us. Now, what we're going to get here, you will probably never get anywhere else in the world. And our ambassadors are going to be sharing about a cultural practice from their country. And so you may not have to fly to all of these countries, but right here, right now, we're going to be learning so much from different cultures. So they're going to be sharing something from their country and their context and give us some nuggets. First to go is from Barbados. Oh, I have the nickname for Barbados here because of time. Let me just let her speak. Let's receive and welcome Miss Alicia Nichols, please. Our global ambassador.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kofi. Good to see you. Hi everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. And this is such a interesting question because right now in Barbados we have the Crop Over Festival, which is like our main festival going on. And when I was thinking about this question, I was like, wait a minute, we have this thing called the Tuck Ban in Barbados. So if you were ever to come to Barbados during a holiday like the Crop Over Festival right now, you're going to see this band, this group of people dressed in these really pretty costumes and playing like the flute and the triangle and the penny whistle and some other things. And you'll wonder what is it that they are. It's called a Tuck Band. And when I thought about the Tuck Band, I thought about the fact that every culture has a Tuck Band, something like that.
I'm
which
sorry.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you can hear us. You can hear me.
Yeah. There's so many things that I knew what you're saying. You say the whistle. You've mentioned. If you can explain each one of them, because we have no idea, you know, of we're not familiar. Yeah, you're mentioning some names of instruments.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yes. So there's this instrument called the penny whistle. It's similar to like a flute that is played. Then there's the traditional African drum. And then there's the triangle. There's this triangle. I'm pretty sure it's African in origin or similar to that as well. And it came up during colonialism and it's been passed on for generations, and it mixes elements of the British culture and African culture, being the fact that 90% of Barbadians are of African descent. So the Tuck Band mixes those elements of those two cultures. And when I thought about what's a good representation of something that if it were in existence in other countries, it would be beneficial, I thought about the Tuck Band because one, it shows a mix of a blending of two different cultures coming together, making something harmonious. So the mix of the African culture and the African cultures rather. And me is a band, so the band has to play together. So it needs teamwork, and teamwork is always important. It is something which fosters community spirit because they play at different events that we have, like what's going on now with the Crop Over Festival. It is good for your mental health because, hey, music is good for your mental health. Listening to music, listening to that rhythm. If I had time, I would show you a video of the Tuck Band playing. But if you go into Google and type Barbados Tuck Band, you should see a representation of it. So that's my answer to the second one is for leaders to become more culturally intelligent and collaborate better with people from different cultures. And I think the previous speaker touched on this very well when she talked about languages, right? And I found, as someone who started learning languages from young, I speak 5, various levels of proficiency. I have found that by learning languages, it has helped me to become a much more tolerant person. Why is that? One, because as someone who is a native English speaker, and I go to, say, France or Brazil or wherever, and I am trying to speak their language, I know how grateful I feel when native speakers of that language take the time to speak slowly so I can understand. So knowing that when I am speaking to a non-native English speaker, I try to speak as clearly as possible so that they understand. So that has taught me empathy. It has taught me respect for cultural differences. As I was telling the group that I was in earlier, I was in Mauritius 2 weeks ago. I really love Mauritius because it's a lot like Barbados. It's an African country, so there's that element there of that mix as well. And being in Mauritius, it gave me the opportunity not just to practice my French, but also it helped me to understand the differences. Even though Mauritius is English speaking as well, there are certain nuances because of their heritage of both a French and a English colonized country, formerly colonized country. And I have to be aware of those differences as well. Another thing that learning languages does is that it helps you to be a lot more tolerant of people. And that's something that I found the previous speaker, Latoya, I really enjoyed her presentation, and that need to be open-minded, understanding that people do things differently from how you do them. And just because they do it differently doesn't mean it's wrong, or that how you're doing it is wrong. It just means that two people in two different places approach something in a different way, and there might be things that you can learn from how they approach things, and there could be ways in which they can learn from how you approach things. And then my last tip would be in terms of traveling, and the previous speaker spoke about this very extensively, but I would just say from personal experience as someone who has traveled quite extensively as well, North America, South America. I haven't touched Asia yet, but I have been to Africa, Uganda, and then Mauritius, as I said, and Kenya. I've found that having traveled helps me to be a lot more tolerant, a lot more open-minded as a business person, a lot more willing to try new things, because I go to another country and I see that things could be done better. And it helps me to be a lot more mindful of how I interact with people. And I think that that's something that's very important for us as leaders, to learn from other cultures and see how we can mix some of the things we learned into what we are doing. And in other words, try to make sure that we, we learn the best from each other and be as open-minded as possible. So for me, those are the nuggets of wisdom that I'm happy to share.
All happening here at PALI, and every one of our speakers is a PALI alumni, and what a rich global community we are blessed to be in. All right, wonderful. So the questions are going to be taken later down the line. Any final words from you, Alicia? And then we switch, we go from, so we've just heard from Alicia Nichols from the Gem of the Caribbean Sea, which is the Barbados. She's a trade and development consultant. And there's so much to read about her, traveling all over the world and finishing up a PhD. All right, congratulations. And thank you for sharing those incredible.
Thank you so much, Dr. Coffee.
Awesome. All right, we'll take the questions later on. But let's go all the way to Brazil, to one of our amazing PALI Global ambassadors in the person of Miss Maria Ligia Conti. She's a teacher, and she is also an artist. And of course, she is from the football nation, the pearl of the giant of South America. And I want to say to Maria, Petria Amada. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kofi. It's always a pleasure to be here. Well, so what I want to say, I am from Brazil, from the state of São Paulo. And the first thing that I want to say, to point out, is like in the United States, in Brazil, apart from 0.8% of the population who are the indigenous people, we come from everywhere in the world. So we are 51% of the population in Brazil identify as Afro-descendants, but even those people, they are mixed up we are mixed up. If at some point the indigenous people would tell us, go back home, we wouldn't know where to go. Like on my father's side, on my mother's side, there are about 9 different nations, that I know of. Very close, like grandfather, great-grandfather, that are, different blood streams. So this is what Brazil looks like. We're very different people. And because of this, the cultural aspects, they're much, depending on which state you are. Like São Paulo, we have some aspects. Minas Gerais would be very different, the south, the north. So we have very different characteristics around the country. But one thing that is very common to see people, foreigners that come here, that they comment on, is the hospitality. We have this thing that we always welcome people. We are very happy to have foreigners coming, and even cross states here. When, like in São Paulo, in my city, in São Paulo, if somebody comes from another state from Brazil, we always like to talk to them and to be with them. This is one characteristic. Sometimes I consider it nosy because we ask questions. So people that come to Brazil and then get asked questions that they might think are intimate questions, don't think anything bad about us. We're just curious. We want to make friends. And then we go asking questions like they say, oh, this is personal. So you can say you don't want to answer. You can change the subject, but we will still ask you those questions. We're kissers. Some countries also, some nations, they're not used to this. We just kiss everybody, like two kisses on the cheeks. And this is a sign that you're our friend. And once you're a friend to a Brazilian, you're part of the family. And being part of the family doesn't mean that you are always appreciated, doesn't mean that you're always accepted. But as a part of family, we will deal with it, with you. And we will like you, and we will continue receiving you in our houses. We are loving, playful people, and we have Carnival. I think everybody has heard of Carnival, which I think is far more important than soccer, although soccer may be as important for many people. But anyway, so I found something interesting about Carnival. Somebody has said that if we Brazilians put our creativity and our efforts, everything that we put on Carnival, if we put this on the economic situation of the country, we would be one of the first nations on the planet, because we do put a lot on Carnival, a lot of creativity, a lot of time, a lot of love, a lot of even money. People put a lot of money in it. One thing that I got this information, all the information I'm sharing with you, I didn't create them. I wouldn't know. In the beginning, when I got the question, I said, what is special about Brazil? I wouldn't know. So I got from different people that told me this. And one thing that I hadn't noticed is that we are very uncomfortable saying no in Brazil. So because we think it's impolite to say no. So if you ask for something, we will say, let's see, maybe, but not no. But we're meaning no. This is not valid for when a woman says no. When a woman says no is no, period. I'm talking about business, about invitations. So you invite me to go to your house on Friday, next Friday, and I'll say, yes, thank you, maybe. And then on Monday, I will think of something if I don't want to go, and I'll give you a very nice statement, saying why I cannot go on Friday. So we have this thing with saying no. So when people are doing business, you have to consider this, that that our no's are difficult to come out, but it doesn't mean there's no. I hope you understand that. You can ask me questions more after when the questions come. Let me see. I wrote down here so I don't forget. Yeah, I think this is about it. So when you get a maybe or let's see from a Brazilian doing business or a relationship, again, not from a woman, which is serious no. And then you think, oh, maybe it's a no, and then you may insist a little more. For the wisdom part, the two wisdoms I got from the Indians, from the native people, the indigenous people. I'm getting confused with these words all the time because I've always said Indians. We've always said Indians. And now it's not politically correct, so we have to go indigenous people. So I get confused about it. Confused in speaking, not understanding. So I'll keep the word indigenous. When the Portuguese people first came to Brazil, there were about 2.5 million indigenous groups of, indigenous people living in Brazil. And 100 years later, they were reduced to 10% in number. And today, they are 1.7 million individuals. So there are less individuals than they were groups when the Portuguese first came here. So we owe them a lot of respect, and they're still fighting for their rights and their recognition. So in respect to them, I got two sentences, two pieces of wisdom from them. The first one says, silence is ancient wisdom. We learn from our elders to listen more than to speak. I love that. The other one goes, we indigenous people hunt different species during different periods, respecting Mother Nature's cycles. And when we plant, we leave part of our harvest to local animals. Because when we show our respect for other living beings, they respond with respect for us. I think these two pieces of wisdom, they are very much important for us nowadays, for all the situation that is happening in the whole world. And this is about respect, about respecting nature, respecting humans, respecting each other, respecting life. And this is it. Thank you very much.
Keep busy in the chat room. Keep busy in the chat room. Wow.
Thank
all
you.
the way from Brazil. Incredible. All right. Incredible. Incredible. All right. Let's carry on with the conversations. So we take a quick, let me reshare my screen. We take a quick switch to, let's go all the way to Burundi. And of course, Burundi in Africa is the land of peace. It's also the pearl of the Great Lakes. And we do have our ambassador, Mrs. Micheline Baranderica. We have a new co-ambassador in Burundi as well. So I'm going to invite ambassador or our co-ambassador. Our co-ambassador is Mr. Oscar Indua Rugira. He is a consultant with the Great Lakes Peace Building Initiative. So let me please invite either Mrs. Micheline, maybe traveling around the world, or Mr. Oscar. Mr. Oscar here. You're welcome, sir.
Yes, I'm there.
And he has his PALI cap. He's wearing a PALI cap because he was at the event. Go ahead.
Good evening to everybody.
We can hear you.
You hear me? That's great. As Kofi has already said, I'm Oscar Ndwarugira from Burundi, and I'm standing in for Micheline, who is traveling to the UK, and she's not able to join in the meeting, but she asked me to be her co-ambassador, and that's why I'm the one who's going to talk about Burundi. And let me start by answering the question. cultural practice that can benefit the world if adopted globally. When you come to Burundi, the first thing that you should know, Burundi is a very small country, 27,000 square kilometers, obviously with 12 million as a population of now. And Burundi is a country, the people are called Barundi, and the language is called Kirundi. So it's a country where everybody speaks the same language. So we assume everybody knows, each one of us knows everybody. That's what we assume. So culturally, when you meet with a Burundian, he's expecting you to give him a greeting. Culturally, you don't pass by a person in Burundi without saying hello. So that's something really we value a lot, because we assume we know each other, we can communicate without any problem. So everybody expects you to say hello. And the way we greet, we normally say shalom, amahoro. Amahoro means peace, shalom. So everybody expects you when you meet to say amahoro. That's a general greetings, but you can also greet depending on the time. If it is still in the morning, you can say mwaramutse, mwakeye, that means good morning. If it is in the afternoon, you can say mwiriwe, that means good afternoon. But it's prohibited, it's not good, it's not respectful to pass by somebody without saying hello. So a greetings is a must, and it connects. Before you can ask whether, like, you want to know the way, or you're asking for a question, please always start by greeting the person. And the way we greet, you just give the hand. You don't just talk. You just stop and show the hand and give the hand to the person, your right hand to the person, and you shake the hands and you say amahoro or mwaramutse or mwiriwe. That's reconnect. That's how you connect with Burundian people. Another thing is Burundian are almost all of them religious. Sometimes when I look at the internet, I read to Google, they always give us numbers and they say that they are Burundians who don't have any religion, and I wonder what they really mean. Or all Burundians are supposed to be religious, because religion is part of the Burundian identity and culture. Traditionally, when the nation was started, it started within, the region was there. So when the Belgians came to colonize Burundi, they didn't bring another concept of God. They just took what was there and they just adapted it to their concept of God. So we still have culturally what we call Iman, that is God. It's just originally, it started with when the Burundi as a royal or as a kingdom started, it was, religion was embodied within it. So culturally, every Burundian should be religious. So when you are in Burundi, this is something that is so much valued. So don't be surprised when you hear that Burundians are 90% Christians, Burundians are this and this, and everybody seems to be a religious person. Obviously, you know, practicing is another thing. But all our names, most likely, they refer to God. When you hear people like Nduimana, Nduarugira, all of them means most of our names have God within. So religion is something that you need to value. And obviously, we have different religious background now that's in the country. But when you come, you should know that there are so many Burundians who identify themselves as religious people. So we don't understand the concept of people who don't have religion and all this. So it makes the way easier when you come and identify as a religious person, and that also helps to connect. That's one of the things. But some of the nuggets that I would say for leadership, for Burundians, in Burundi, as a leader, you need to learn how to communicate by heart, not by mouth. It's good to communicate with your language and tell people things, but you need to go beyond and feel what are they thinking, what is in their heart. Because culturally, we normally communicate in a sophisticated way using proverbs. So we have a proverb that says, a Burundian can hate you and you hide him that you know that he hates you. So it means a Burundian can have anger against you, but still befriend you, still walk with you, still laugh with you, but all inside of him, he's planning how to eliminate you. So that's why we say, if you are a leader, you should be careful in understanding really what are people thinking. So when people are in front of you, look at their faces, try to look at the gestures they are making, and get inside to understand, are they saying yes because it's in the heart, it's just the mouth? Otherwise, you miss the whole point. So that's very crucial when you hear, when you are really trying to communicate with Burundians in every sector, in every area of the life. That's how they culturally think. You should never say directly what you want to say, hide it somewhere, and the other person needs really to know what really the person is saying. That's one of the things I think people should learn. Another thing should be that Burundians don't just communicate out of nowhere. So Burundians culturally, they like to drink beer. So whenever I want to talk with people, whenever I want to, which is very important, one of the things that shows that you are serious with what you are asking, you have to bring beer. Burundians don't talk without beer. In every event, whenever important, bring beer. That's why I have a problem with the word corruption. Corruption in my country doesn't exist actually, because when you bring beer to somebody, you want to ask something, it's like you are really trying to induce him or corrupt him. But culturally, we don't talk, we don't discuss serious issues if there is no beer. So beer is a must. Traditional beer actually is a must, and it has been culturally within what we do every day. Obviously, with religion coming in, some missionaries telling us that drinking is bad and all this, there have been a lot of this, but still, even when we are speaking in our speeches, we always refer to beer. Beer is very crucial. So when you have something you want to ask a person, please don't forget to buy him a bottle of beer and discuss around that. When he took some zip now, you can start introducing your issue, and a Burundian will really receive you and accept what you are saying. Thank you, Kofi, for the opportunity, and maybe that's what I want to share for now.
All right, leaders, I'm sorry I can't speak, I'm just laughing. All right, thank you so much. All right, oh my goodness. Today, all right, sorry. We are just—
They will eliminate you in Burundi.
Oh, this is amazing. We are learning, right? We are learning. All right, distinguished leaders from Burundi. Let's come to Ghana, or let's go to Ghana.
Burundi is well represented here.
I'm telling you. Well, the gateway to Africa is Ghana. And we have, she is a banker, and she's also a temperament coach, and she's with the Fidelity Bank of Ghana in the person of Mrs. Theodora Senaya, please. Let's receive our PALI ambassador for Ghana.
Okay, good evening, PALI family.
Good to see you.
So, yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. So, in terms of culture, going straight to the point. Hello?
Go ahead. I was going to ask you
okay.
if you need to present some drinks before you talk in Ghana as well. Is it the same thing? Because we just came from Burundi. We just want to see what is similar, what is not similar, you know. But it's very interesting.
Yes, 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 yes.
Carry on.
Yes, so definitely we have a lot of similarities, among the African countries. For example, the greetings. I think one of our ambassadors mentioned that, Ghana too is the same. We greet. The use of the left hand for Ghana is a no-no. Okay, Ghanaians are generally very hospitable. But I would want to go straight to talk about something I found unique, especially being a Gambian originally, now Ghanaian. We are in August, and if I should talk about a cultural festival or something culture, and especially staying in Accra, I think the only thing that is appropriate at this time is to talk about what we call the Homowo. Okay, the Homowo Festival. So this is a festival that is celebrated by the Ga people. It's a Ga ethnic group in Ghana, and they are primarily in the Greater Accra region. And the word Homowo simply means hooting at hunger or making fun of hunger. And the purpose generally is to commemorate the end of a great famine that once plagued the Ga people. So generally during the Homowo Festival, which is celebrated in August, so from the 9th of August right through the end of the month, you will find different Ga communities celebrating the Homowo Festival with traditional drumming, dancing. You will see procession through the streets led by their chiefs and their elders, offering all kinds of foods and drinks. And there's a special kind of food that they sprinkle around, which is a type of fermented corn dough. Definitely there is music, dancing, and all of that. But why did I, apart from the fact that we are in the Homowo month, another thing I found very unique about this Homowo Festival is the preparation towards the Homowo, which normally starts somewhere in May and June. And one unique thing that I would want us all to know is that during the preparation towards this Homowo Festival in May and June, there is something we called ban on noise making and drumming in Accra. Yes, in all Accra, there is ban on noise making and drumming. So which means that there is restricted noise gathering for outdoor events, and you are looking at the pubs, even the churches, mosques, etc. So it means that, and it lasts for 1 month. So it means that during this 1 month period, the pubs are not so expected to play music. The churches are not expected to use their instruments, as well as but why is it unique? We are talking about culture and acceptance. Coming into Ghana, initially, I found it okay. So why do I have to stop, playing my church instruments? Because, as they explained, it's more like to please the God. Initially, I think even from some of the Christian churches, communities, initially was a tough one. We have a lot of the churches trying to fight against it, but you find out that when you fight against them within that 1 month, they will come and seize your instruments and all of that. But with time, everybody has sort of accepted it. So I sat down and I asked myself, what is there to learn about it? Yes, over time, people now look forward towards this 1 month, because within this 1 month, aside all the culture thing that goes with it, there's what we call REST. Yes, REST, rest. So it's more like a 1 month period of rest, peace, and tranquility within Accra. So you find out that for if you stay in Ghana, you will know that almost every week, it's either you're going for a funeral or you're going for a wedding. But within that 1 month, most weddings and funerals are postponed till after that 1 month ban, because you are not going to play music, you are not going to dance and all of that. So you are sure that your weekend you have it at home with your family. For those who stay in residential areas that are always burgled by the noises from the all night, the noises from the pub, light clubs and all of that, you are sure that you're going to have at least your peace of mind for 1 week. And again, in church, we have a church and we realize that this last time, you could actually hear the church members singing with their own voices. Those of us who used to hide behind the instruments, now there are no instruments. So you are forced to sing with your own voice to God. And I think in all of it, it's good. So one unique thing I've learned is that we have to accept every culture. And in every culture, even if it is against your personal beliefs, your personal norms and values, there is something positive to learn about it. So personally, within that 1 month, I know nobody's going to invite me to funeral or to any event. Okay, so I think this is one unique thing that we have to learn. So it means that if you are from outside, you are coming to Ghana to come and do any event, especially in Accra, you know that you have to search through the ban on noise making and drumming period, and you make sure that you don't put any events there because it will just not be successful. So this is something unique I would want to share. In everything, there is something good, there is something positive we have learned. Yes, Homawa Festival celebrated by the Ghans, but in the nutshell, we say that it's a month of rest, a month where mental health is very, very important. You have your mental health, you have your peace of mind, and you can also have time to relax and to reflect. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Kofi, I hope I've been able to do within my time.
I know. It's a month of rest, isn't it? Amazing. All right. Just having great fun. There are questions in the chat room, so please take note, and then you can address them, when we get there. All right, distinguished leaders, let's go all the way to the Reggae Nation. The Reggae Nation, the Pearl of the Caribbean. She's the CEO of Transformational Life Solutions, the amazing Cordell. Cordell, to Jamaica, please. You guys have something similar to Burundi?
No, not at all. Right. All right. So thank you, Dr. Kofi, for including us. One of the cultural norms that I want to share from Jamaica is one of our values that we hold dear, which is little but we talawa. It's a saying that has become, as I said, a part of our value system. It's a part of our value system, in Jamaica, and we subscribe to it. And what it means is that we are small but mighty. Is our cultural value. It demonstrates our attitude of resourcefulness, resilience, and positivity despite the challenges that we go through. And though Jamaica is quite small, we're 10,900, a little over 10,000 square feet, and our population is, I think, is about 3 million now. For years growing up, I heard 2.5, but I think we're about 3 million now, which would be like 3% of the world population. But despite our size, our contribution to the economy, to politics, to music, to cuisine, to food, and the global culture is significant. It's mighty, right? So persons may know our soup, Dr. Kofi, is very good. Right? Might be one of the best soups.
You guys think your mother's soup is the best, right? Your mother's soup is the best, right?
That's what I'm saying, right? So many persons may know, Bob Marley. Recently we had one of the biggest movies coming out, One Love, right? We have Grace Jones, great contributor to fashion and entertainment. And I think her brother, Noel Jones, is one of the biggest, global preachers as well, and they're from Jamaica. Marcus Garvey, our contribution to, you know, freedom fighter and, you know, the whole empowerment of Black people across the globe. So he was a great politician. He's also one of our national heroes. We have right now, I think we just did the 100 meter. Anybody can give an update on that. Shelley and Fraser Price is one of our great sprinters from Jamaica, and everybody should know Usain Bolt, right? Many of these things I should say you should know. So we're a little cocky about, you know, our soup. Right? And then we have the music, the reggae, the cuisine, the jerk chicken, you know, the Blue Mountain coffee that is being copied all across the world. Recently, our ice cream,
Go
Devon House
Jamaica, go
ice cream
Jamaica.
was.
Hey guys, Jamaica is really loud.
You were there.
Jamaica is really loud, man.
Right? And you were there, Dr. Kofi, so you can speak too, right? The ice cream or dance.
Carry on.
So you can attest to the fact that the soup is very good, right? And now, and I can get some drum roll of this, we're on the cusp of having the leader of one of the greatest nations, right, coming as a product out of Jamaica, which is Kamala Harris, about to become, you know, president of the United States of America. So we little but we talawa, right? So if this could go across the world, I think this would be so significant for the world. The world would become unstoppable, because in Jamaica, as part of our dance hall, which is also another thing, and dancing, Lord, I could go on and on, right? But we have this song, Unstoppable Runaway Train, right? We would be unstoppable. The world would be unstoppable. The world would be, I think, free from some of the mental struggles. We have sayings in Jamaica, Irie, no problem, right? Don't worry yourself, right? So we have that culture of, you know, let it go, just take it easy, right? So that cultural resilience of being able to fight through the global crises that we're all experiencing, right? And the shortage of this, that, and the other, right? That we're experiencing, resilient and able to fight through and push through some of the challenges right now. Community, this saying also brings across a sense of community. Even though we have little, right? You might have a little food,
Can't hear you.
Yeah, you're hearing me now?
Yes.
Right, sorry about that. I said, if this could go across the world, what we would have also, not just from a sense of resilience and, you know, high level of self-esteem and that can-do attitude and getting things done, but we'd also have community. So even in Jamaica, no matter how you're hungry, you don't have no money, right? If you can rely on others, you can come together. People tend to come together. Just recently, we came out of our Beryl hurricane, right? And everybody know persons are raising funds, going across Jamaica, helping people to be, you know, with the restoration. You know, people lost their roofs, etc. That is the spirit of Jamaica, that community. And we have this saying, every mickle make a muckle. So my little piece and your little piece come together, make that mighty impact and that significance that we're trying always as a humanity trying to accomplish. And I think this ties in very closely with I am because we are, that same Ubuntu. So I think it was Andrew Steele, who's my pastor, was on here, and he was saying, you know, I want to be in Ghana because it's kind of similar. And Africa generally, that Ubuntu, I am because we are, we come together. So if you see a Jamaican enter a competition, mark you and his vote you need, you bet your bottom dollar that Jamaican is gonna win. And that's why I have every confidence that Kamala Harris will win once you get that Jamaican support, because that's how we are, we come together. So I think I would want to share this because it is significant. It ties us, the Caribbean, with, ties us, Jamaica and the Caribbean, closely with Africa, which is, the essence of what we're trying to accomplish here. So that's my share from Jamaica. One love. I see a lot of people chiming in, and I did see somebody say we have beer, Dr. Kofi, right? We do talk over beer, right? But we our beer again is Red Stripe beer, one of the greatest in the world. So just to segue into the next question, two things for leaders that I want to share is listen without judgment, right? Don't jump to conclusions about, what people may mean, what their message they're trying to bring across. There's a saying, where you stand depends on where you sit. Perspective is everything. So I think trying to understand where the person is coming from, what their experiences are, it kind of determines the way you act, the way you see things. So not jumping to conclusions as you interact with people, whether even in your own culture, right? Not jumping to conclusions is very crucial. And the next thing I want to say is be authentic, just show up as yourself. I think when we try to fit in because we're in a new space, you lose yourself, and people are really looking for you to show up as yourself. And I found that, we are more alike than we are different. And we need to focus on the things that are similar, right? The things that unite us rather than divide us, and the world will be a much better place. Thank you.
Small but mighty indeed. It's a very small island, but man, these guys, they're already getting people lining up for Jamaica already. All right, guys. I don't know what's happening in Burundi, but everybody seems to be wanting to go to Burundi. Mr. Oscar, well, thank you, Jamaica. Great nation. All right. Which nation is shaking the world today? Well, she is the country director for Kenya's Dream, and she is one of PALI's co-ambassadors for that lovely nation of Kenya. All right, let's welcome Kenya. Let's welcome Kenya. Kenya is on the field right now, distinguished leaders.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Kofi, for the opportunity. When I was asked whether I can speak about the cultural practices, I wondered and looked around the entire country. And as a country director at Kenya's Dream, what we address mostly, or the community we work in, has a lot of some harmful cultural practices. But then, for purposes of this meeting, we are looking at cultural practices that would benefit the world if adopted globally. So, as I was thinking around this, one came to my mind, and that is a practice which brings in the concept of communal support and collective responsibility. I know our friends from Tanzania would be able to relate so much. It's called Ujamaa in Swahili, and it's common in Swahili speaking communities. So in Kenya, we have the coastal region, which is purely more on Swahili speaking communities. So Ujamaa means familyhood or extended family. So the concept of communal support and collective responsibility brings in the principle of communal living and also mutual support. So I thought for purposes of this, that's something I can share from the Kenyan side. And I can say this emphasizes the collective responsibility of individuals towards one another within the community. So we are looking at the aspect of unity and cooperation. So the key aspects which comes out from Ujamaa, or the concept of communal support and responsibility, is it brings together the community or families, and the aspect of collective responsibilities elaborated is broadly displayed from that concept, whereby we do a lot of ceremonies ranging from weddings, child naming ceremonies, funerals. So with this concept, the family or the communities are able to come together to support each other. The other aspect which comes up very clearly is the resource sharing. So at times we have families who are unable to have access to all the resources they need to meet their needs. I'm looking in this case when we talk about the financial aspects, all the families or all the community members might not be equally resourced from financials, agricultural, and also social. So from the aspect of Ujamaa, it's able to bring the communities and also encourage the aspect of sharing. Then the last aspect under that is more on the problem solving, where through the Ujamaa, the families or the communities are able to do community dialogues. If there are any challenge in a family, that can be, or in a community, that can be addressed in a setup where the other members are able to support in addressing the challenge at hand. So when we talk about the global benefits, um, from the concept of Ujamaa, it's able to strengthen social ties. That literally means that it can be able to build a more resilient community and also be able to foster a sense of shared solidarity. We can all imagine how a community which is tied together or which has come together can be able to accomplish and be able to address issues or challenges within them. Then the other aspect is the collaborative problem solving, where the communities can be able to tackle challenges more effectively and also innovatively. And then we have enhanced support systems. That is where we have emotional, practical support. So we have from the various communities of various families, we would be able to have people who can be able to address one aspect. The other within the group can also be able to address another one. So ultimately, it leads to an improved overall well-being and mental health among the communities. So incorporating the aspects of Jama definitely in a global practice would be able to contribute to a more supportive, inclusive, and equitable world where communities work together to address challenges and are also able to support each other. Going to the second one on two wisdom nuggets to help leaders become more culturally intelligent and collaborate with people from other countries. From the Ujamaa, we've talked about more on the responsibility. So what we are trying to do is this embraces the collective responsibility and mutual support. So we all understand that when it comes to leadership, it thrives in a culture of mutual support and shared responsibility. And then my second nugget would be on promotes inclusivity and collaborative problem solving. So that is looking at the diverse perspectives. Diverse perspectives are strengths. Inclusivity unlocks collective innovation. That's what I can share from my end. Just to thank Dr. Kofi and the team also for the opportunity, and good to meet you all members. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before you go off, just explain that word Ujamaa again. Just explain that word again. Yeah, because this is new to most of us.
So yeah, Ujamaa is more on familyhood, a perspective where more than one family or more than one community comes together and work together as a team. So it's more on on a smaller unit, extending like an extended family, a group of families, family members coming together or communities coming together.
Awesome. Very well said. Well, we're going to be practicing Ujamaa more and more. All right. Okay, distinguished leaders coming up. Well, there's a lot coming up. We have Namibia coming up. We have Malawi. We have Nigeria. We have Rwanda. We have Tanzania, Trinidad. So we do have a little time to go, but we will make it on time. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next one? Please let me see in the chat room. Let me see that you're still there, getting your passports ready and getting ready to visit the country. So let me see you're ready. And whilst you get ready, let's give our registrar just 3 minutes. Hulda, could you do this in 2-3 minutes? If you can share your screen. Excellent. We are ready. Just listen to our registrar, and then I guess there's something to discover in Namibia and Malawi. Thank you. Ms. Hulda, do you want to do this quick? Yep. Let's give it 2 minutes. Just for a quick.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. I'll be very brief so that we can continue with our interesting session. Yes, so I'm going to go through briefly, talk about who enrolls at PALI, what our senior leaders are saying, and about our upcoming courses. Then we kick on. Okay, one sec. All right, so at PALI, we have different executives and leaders from across the globe, as we can see here today, from different cultural backgrounds and in different diverse fields of expertise, very senior people. So we have people from leaders from the educational sector into politics. We have pilots, military officials, lecturers, and many more. And then all these people, all these leaders occupy various leadership positions based on their field of expertise. And so at PALI, we have about 24% of our executive students or leaders in C-suite managerial positions. We have another 24% in senior management positions and 28% in middle management. So about more than 75% of executive students that come through PALI are from the C-suite. Some are founders, and from the C-suite managerial level to the middle managerial level. So when we talk about the PALI executives community or executive student body, this is what we are looking at, leaders in this level. And what are these leaders saying about PALI courses? Of course, leaders that facilitators who are industry experts, who are highly skilled and are perfectly fit for each and every course. So we have 95% of our executive students saying that instructors are just top notch and they are right for each courses that they take. And then when it comes to course materials, at PALI, we have our leaders testifying to the fact that we provide the right resources, like resources that are carefully designed to enhance learning. And when it comes to the impact of whatever that is being taught at PALI, 92 of our senior leaders attest to the fact that after their PALI courses, they see that their leadership skills have been sharpened. And then we see that through some of the like testimonials that come after. We have some of our leaders sweeping awards, getting promoted even after our PALI courses. So we see impacts of our courses, even as they testify, we see the impact in the work they do as well. And so next week we are kickstarting our political leadership professional course, and this is a course for leaders who are interested in learning about political leadership. It's a course that's going to explore exceptional skills and strategies, expertise needed to navigate complex political environments to drive change and build nations. And in this course, we're going to speak about the fundamentals of political leadership. We'll talk about governance, financing political campaigns, talk about peace building, negotiation and conflict resolutions, and more importantly, legal wisdom and effective strategies for political campaign. So these and many more. You may ask yourself who this course is for senior politicians. And I have to jump to the next one.
No, I'll
We
just
have
pause
our
you here.
gateway
I'll,
to
I'll just
African
pause you here.
course.
I'll just pause you here. And yep, I think very well said. If you go back to the slide, the 2 slides before this one, about the incredible feedback about leaders coming through your courses. And of course, if you're here today and you know anyone that is getting into politics, already in politics, this is the course for them, because this is a sort of transformation they're going to receive. And huge thanks to our registrar and our very hardworking team that makes so many things happen. Thank you very much, Madam Hulda. So at this juncture, we're going to go to, I don't see Malawi here. So we're going to go to Namibia. Is Malawi here? Let's count 3 seconds. If Malawi, 1, because I can't see Malawi. It's Mr. Victor Wickens. I can't see Malawi yet. So let's get on with our discovery. Let's get on with our discovery. But thank you so much, Miss Hulda, our indefatigable registrar at PALI. All right, are we ready for Namibia? Well, she is. Oh no, I think I have a better slider for her, but she's the sustainability strategist for Mehafo Sustainable Solutions. And of course, we know Namibia is the land of the brave. All right, let's hear from the brave people. Let's learn from you. Madam Selma.
Yeah, thank you so much for coffee. Good evening, PALI family. I'm Selma Nashea. And yeah, so just to be really brief, for those who don't know Namibia, Namibia is on the southwest coast of Southern Africa. And Namibia specifically, countries within the region, the Southern African region. So culturally, like everybody else, we are also culturally diverse with many ethnic groups. We, as a people, we are very accommodating, but we're also quite conservative compared to our neighboring brothers and sisters. And also in general, we are quite a peaceful nation. So yeah, I mean, there's so many things I can say about Namibia as an example, but I think some of the overall general strengths, because of our diversity, I can say that we are quite tolerant. We are quite a tolerant nation. And because of tolerance, we are really able to, you know, to be a united nation somehow, even though we have our challenges here and there. But also because of our geographical condition or geographical types, we are very, I mean, we are kind of forced to build resilience. And I think that is why we are called the land of the brave, because we really have to endure quite challenging climatic conditions, very short rainfalls, and yeah, so we depend on the land a lot. So based on that, our resilience has helped us to really overcome some of the adversities we faced as a nation from our historical circumstances, as well as our present global challenges. And because of that, we are able to adapt. So we're a very adaptive nation, and I think it's noteworthy for others who might be struggling to also take that as an example for themselves. As I said, we are a peaceful nation. We are quite progressive, and as much as we are also a small country, and we are a very welcoming country. So we love to celebrate. We love to celebrate one another, even though we are conservative. And in my tribe, when we celebrate, we generally ululate. And since we have had some dramatic expressions and descriptions from some countries, I thought I would also try to be a bit dramatic by ululating. So this is how it goes. Okay, it's a bit, yeah, so I'll go. So you can ululate this way. We say, okay, you can, adjust your tone. However, if you struggle to do that, you can also just use your hands and put it on your mouth and say something like that. That's not the original version. So anyway, so yes, so there you go. So as Namibia, we really encourage the PALI community to continue to collectively celebrate one another as we're doing today, in order for us to continue building strong support systems for one another that will inspire ourselves as well as others in transforming and promoting transformative societies. For the wisdom, for the nuggets, I was actually inspired by two aspects. So one is an African proverb and the other is a scriptural verse. So one thing I definitely encourage all leaders is that we seek wisdom, because it's really in wisdom that we find, the creativity to co-create that which we seek. And so the African proverb says that wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. So if you've seen a baobab tree, it's quite a big tree. And if you try to embrace it, it is too big, you can't do it alone. And that just kind of hints to me that we really need to be open and accepting of our different perspectives, as it was earlier shared by many previous speakers, embracing our different perspectives, our different experiences, in order for us to be open to experiencing, more richer experiences in life. And also in order for us to really tap into the potential innovation and, in co-creating those solutions that we seek, and also in building stronger collaborations. And then my final tip from the scripture verse of Romans chapter 12, verse 4 and 5, I'm going to read it here. It says, for just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. So this, I think, just inspires the need to seek understanding and to foster unity, no matter where we come from, no matter where we find ourselves. And in doing so, try to strive in creating shared values. And that is all I have to share for tonight. Thank you so much.
You're popping. What do you say in the chat room? We're going to Namibia, and we're going for a safari. All right, distinguished leaders, let's carry on very quick, where everyone is going to be sharing all the way to the giant of Africa. You have to say it in both. Oh, I think I short your wrong profile, but it's, forgive us, sir. But he is the knowledge. He is the certified knowledge manager at the Nigerian National Petroleum Limited, the certified knowledge manager. So what a role, what a powerful role. All right, all the way to Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kofi, and greetings to all of you great PALI leaders around the world, wherever you are. Please continue to make impact in your corners and touching life in so many different ways that you're already doing. My name is Amos Beecham, PALI Ambassador Nigeria. If time permits, I will be talking about the festivals and celebrations in Nigeria, then talk about our music and dance, arts and crafts, and I will be sharing some best practices for cultural interaction. Quickly, Nigeria is a country located in West Africa.
Mr. Bicham, I think your video is off,
most...
unless it's deliberate. Your video is off. Is it? Or is...
All right.
Thank you.
Nigeria, West Africa, it is the 100 million people. Nigeria is known for its rich cultural diversity, having over 500 different languages spoken within its borders.
500.
It may interest you to know
500.
That over 500 languages spoken within our borders. Yes, yes. The official language is English, and we have 3 major ethnic groups: the Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, among many others. Talking about our festivals and celebrations, Nigeria is known for its vibrant festivals and celebrations, which reflect our rich cultural diversity. For the Yorubas, there's a festival we call Eyo Festival, which holds in Lagos. It features processions of people dressed in white robes and hats. And going down to the Igbo land, the southeastern part of Nigeria, we have the New Yam Festival, which shortly in August, it will be coming up. I mean, I'm excited to talk about the New Yam Festival for the Igbo people. It celebrates the harvest of yams with feasting, dancing, and masquerades. And down northern part of Nigeria, we have the Hausas, and we have the Dober Festival, which is celebrated during the Eid. It features horse parades, traditional music, and elaborate attires. Talking about our festival and celebrations. For our music and dance are integral part of Nigerian culture. Traditional music features instruments like the talking drum and the shekere, predominantly in the western part of Nigeria. And we have popular music genres, including Afrobeats, high life, and Fuji, with famous musicians such as Fela, Ransom Kuti, Burna Boy, and the Wizkid. Our traditional dances include Atilogu for the Igbo people, and Bata for Yoruba, and also the Koroso for the Hausas. For our arts and culture, Nigeria has a rich including the Igbo Oko bronzes and the Yoruba masks. In Nigeria with renowned artists like Ben Enwu and Denjika Okoyoli Crosby. Those are Nigerians who have gained international recognition because of their arts and crafts outstanding dispositions across the world. The bead, poetry, and textile designs are important aspects of Nigerian craftsmanship. So I would like to share about the best practices for cultural interaction, which is very, very important in Nigeria. So we are culturally sensitive in Nigeria, and we show great respect for people coming to do business with us. And our customs and traditions are very, very integral when we interact with people across cultures. One thing you must know is that you must be very flexible and patient if you're dealing with Nigerians and in terms of interactions and negotiations, because building relationship has to do with investing time in getting to know more about your Nigerian counterparts. Nigerians are active listeners. You must pay attention, especially to our non-verbal cues and indirect communication, because they speak a lot about us. Yes, so you must get to know that in order to relate well with us when it comes to businesses. So in terms of 2 major wisdom nuggets that will help leaders to become more culturally intelligent and collaborate with people from my country, I want to say as a takeaway that you must build your cultural awareness and sensitivity, because this leads to a successful and meaningful interactions when you are dealing with our people in Nigeria. And the second wisdom nugget I want to leave with us for want of time is a quote from the great Martin Luther King Jr. And I quote, he says, "Understanding cultures will help us open doors that are still locked in the world." This is very powerful by Martin Luther King Jr. So when we understand each other's cultures, this will greatly help us to open doors that are shut around the world. Permit me to quickly, in conclusion, to share with us a little bit about our cuisines, even though it's a big debate about Nigerian cuisines between Nigeria and Ghana, especially when it comes to our jollof rice. I know Dr. Kofi can relate with that. In Nigeria, we have our staple foods, the rice, the yam, cassava, and the egusi soup. Nigerian cuisine is known for its rich flavors, as you may know, and we use a lot of spices. Our staple foods include rice, yams, and cassava. Our popular dishes are the jollof rice. It's really a big debate whether Nigerian jollof rice is better than Ghana's jollof rice. Dr. Kofi, this is a debate that
No
me and you
comments,
need
no
to
comments
settle
by him. No
going
comments by
forward.
Kofi.
Yeah, so popular dishes in Nigeria, like I said, jollof rice, which is a spicy tomato-based rice dish, pounded yam with egusi soup, melon seed soup, and suya spicy, which is a skewed meat. Nigerian cooking emphasizes a lot of bold flavors and variety in our food. In conclusion, Nigerian culture is rich and diverse, reflecting its history and the many ethnic groups that make up the country. Preserving and celebrating these traditions is very vital for maintaining our cultural heritage, especially for people who are coming to Nigeria to do business. You must understand our culture and support the preservation and celebration of our cultures. I want to thank you so much for listening to me, and I'm open to questions and further discussions. Thank you very much. This is all I can share with you from Nigeria. Thank you very much.
So
Great PALI
much.
leaders.
The giant of Africa, and I am Nigerian by adoption. All right, we have little time to go, but everyone's going to speak. Distinguished list, we're going to go to Tanzania, but before that, let's give 1 minute. This is so important. This is just made for you. We have Madam Erica. She's all the way in the United States. She's from Jamaica and from the United States. Let's give her 1 minute to send you some love. Just one love all the way. Just sending you love. Just open your heart, open yourself. Let's receive love. Erica, I didn't signal you earlier, but are you able to unmute yourself? Erica? All right. Okay, let's do Tanzania. She has this message about love, one love around the world. So she's going to do that. All right. Well, from the land of Kilimanjaro, she is the founder and the CEO of Young Strong Mothers Foundation. Let's receive Miss Jackie Bomboma. Good to see you, Jackie.
Habari. Okay, Dr. Kofi, allow me to switch off my video for better connection, please. Okay, so hey everyone, habari from. My name is Jackie Bomboma. I am a founder and CEO of Young Strong Mothers Foundation, which is a non-profit organization, and also very excited PALI Global Ambassador for Tanzania. I work for young women, especially teenage mothers and adolescent girls. So today is a very exciting moment for me. With 10 years of experience working as a social entrepreneurship, I gain access to unpack and learn and grow from some great leaders and also friends from different countries. So excited to know some of the leaders that I learned from. They are here. And I'm very excited to be part of their circle at last. So Tanzania is just like any other African countries. It's a beautiful country located in East Africa. The population is over 64 million people. And I think we have 120 tribes. They speak, each tribe speak their own languages, but we are united by one language, which is Swahili. And then we have one motto, which is said in Swahili, uhuru na umoja, which means freedom and unity. So for us, this is the powerful motto that the whole country, everyone in Tanzania is binded to it. We grow up finding it, and probably even the generation of our children and our grandchildren are going to be passed on. So our capital city is Dodoma. I also love to talk about it because so many people from different countries, they get confused about this. So the capital city of Tanzania is Dodoma, but we have a business city, which is Dar es Salaam, and other cities like Arusha and Mwanza, but the national business city is in Dar es Salaam. But we're very excited about having the female president in Tanzania. We call her Mama. Mama means mother. So our Mama Samia Hassan Suluhu. And the interesting part about her name is that Suluhu, which is her name, in English, it's called solution. So for us, we are very happy knowing that we got the solution because we have seen a lot of solution in gender equality, also in education, whereby everyone now has access to education, even the teenage mothers, the school dropout who dropped because of various challenges, but also in collaboration with other countries and other states. So we are very excited about that with our president. But you can't talk about Tanzania without talking about the natural resources that we are having. In Tanzania, we have largest national park with all type of wild animals. We also have Mount Kilimanjaro, whereby we are sharing with our neighbors, the Kenya and Zanzibar. So Zanzibar is the island. And when Selma was speaking, I was just smiling because the first princess of the first sultan in Zanzibar, her name was Selma. She has a beautiful stall that when you visit it Zanzibar, you'll have access to learn about her. She was the first female princess who knew how to read and write Arabic, Swahili, German, and Turkish on her own. And then she was the first female who didn't. She was like a label who got married to someone else from different countries. Like she got married from German, which was a very serious issue. And then she ran away without anyone knowing. So when she was talking, I was just smiling. But also we have our staple food, which is ugali, nyama choma, and also pilau. So I'm very happy about it. We love drinks. So that's why I was telling Dr. Coffee that, we have to make a trip. So we have different types of drinks, local beers, and also we have our traditional clothes, which is kitenge, Masai shuka, kanzu, and imsuli for the men. That we are very Tanzania. But also, as I mentioned earlier, that we are very excited about who we are. But the funny thing that most of our people, especially the Kenyans, are laughing at us, that Tanzanians are always slow. Like they're lazy. But the fact is we are not lazy. It's just because we have that natural humanity, I can say, and love. The hospitality in Tanzania is very high in a way that if you tell someone, can you please direct me to the certain station, someone can leave everything just to got you there. Like we are always like, we take things slow, we take things simple, but some people are challenging us that we are lazy for that. So, but for us, we count it as it's a part of showing love, and also it's part of showing respect. When you come to Tanzania, actually greetings is one of the very important things than a gift. You can bring someone a gift in Tanzania, but if you ignore the part of greetings, that is very bad and it's a nothing. So when it comes to culture here in Tanzania, greeting is one of the best thing that you can take in mind, especially the handshake. When you are greeting someone, you have to give this a handshake, and don't be offended with a long handshake, because when someone gives you a long handshake, that means he or she is very happy with you, and the friendship has begun, and now it's ready to go for everything. So don't be offended for that. And then one thing that I'm very happy about my country that we have achieved so far is tribalism. For us here in Tanzania, we don't have the tribalism part. We count ourselves as one people. So beside the fact that we have over 120 tribes, but for us here, we are just Tanzanian. We speak one language, and that is Swahili, and that is what unites us, beside the fact that we have our mother tongue languages and all that. So for me, I can say that when it comes to sport, like today, we're having Simba Soccer Club and also Yanga Soccer Club. These are the rivals. Like today, the Simba were playing, so the whole country is full of red and the noise everywhere, like it's chaos everywhere. So when it comes to games, we have different types of games, but soccer is the number one team. And we have the Yanga who dress in yellow, and the Simba who dress in red, and I am Simba. So today we won too, and I'm very happy. I'm very excited about that. And as a leader, for me, I can say that we should not opportunity that I don't know how to pronounce this word, but we should not take advantage of the thing that we know, that as leaders we know. Like me, Jackie, I know that I'm a great leader. I have experience, like I've been learning from PALI with the great mentors and all that, so I know everything. No, we shouldn't take that in mind, but instead we should be flexible to adapt other leaders' style. We should be able to learn, to unlearn, but also to be good listeners. You can't communicate well, you can't communicate clearly if you are not listening. We have to be listening. That is the key that can help you to learn from other people, but also to be able to adapt something from others. But also, lastly, is to embrace the diversity by open to giving chances to others. Let us not be the ones who can talk, can teach. We're the one who knows everything. No, we should pause a little bit, take few steps behind, and give an open space for others. The people that we are mentors, the people that we made from different places, the people that we are visiting, the people who are visiting us. We should give them the audience. We should give them the space to talk, because their experience is the only thing that is going to give us the clear definition of that your mother's soup is not the best, or maybe it needs some spices. So I'm very excited being here. You are most welcome to Tanzania, and I am here. I love traveling, and please, I love visitors. I love people. I love to host. So you're most welcome at Young Strong Mothers Foundation. And also you're most welcome in Tanzania. PALI team, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak a little bit about Tanzania, a little bit about the culture in Tanzania. For more, please come and visit Tanzania. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And asante sana. We're really being educated. Thank you, leaders, for making time to invest in yourself. This time, we're learning things that people won't learn elsewhere, direct from diverse cultures. We have just about, I think, 2 or 3 to go, and we will get through all of them. She's been introduced already, our wonderful ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago. Ms. Vasti, please. Thanks for your patience. Okay, because of time, let's go all the way to the Pearl of Africa. The Pearl of Africa is an incredible nation of Uganda. She's a communications manager. Ms. Josephine, please. So happy to see you.
Hi, Dr. Kofi. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
I'm going to be very brief, so
yes,
I'll read from notes. I know that keep it time. So my name is Josephine Karunji, and I'm happy to be here. I'm learning so much, and I'm feeling very well traveled from just this meeting. I'm from Uganda. We won gold yesterday in the Olympics with Joshua Cheptegei in the 10,000 meters race. So
go Uganda.
yay
Go
to
Uganda.
us, yay. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Uganda has a population of over 47 million people. We have about 50 ethnic groups, and each of them has their own languages, traditions, and customs. So it's very difficult for me to just get into each of them and speak to all the uniqueness of that. So I'm going to reflect on the question that you posted, cultural practice that would or might benefit the world. And I'm thinking through the proverb that you shared earlier, and I'm acknowledging before I even start that I do not know so much about other cultures. And so what I'm about to share might be a very common practice. So bear with me, I'm sharing it from my own learning. So we have restorative justice and traditional conflict resolution method that is practiced throughout Uganda, but particularly it's prevalent in the north of Uganda. And I spend quite a bit of my time there as my job takes me there. This region, the north of Uganda, has seen a lot of conflict and instability. Especially those of you who know a bit about Uganda, you've heard about the Lord's Resistance Army, the LRA insurgency. So a lot of healing has come through this traditional practice of conflict resolution. There's a term that they use in Acholi, and it's called mato put, and it translates to drinking the bitter root. And it's a symbol of acceptance and wrongdoing and the willingness to restore social harmony. Many know how difficult it is to acknowledge your wrongdoing publicly and ask for forgiveness and take the punishment that a community will give you. So this is a place of reflection. So this ceremony involves a reconciliation process where the offenders and the victims come together to find a way to restore peace in, the region or wherever it is. And the ceremony will include a confession, it will include an apology, it will include forgiveness, and it will include compensation. So when you drink that bitter herb that they call mato put, it's symbolizing somebody's laughing, and I don't know why they are laughing, but Oscar is finding this very funny. But drinking that herb or concoction symbolizes the acceptance of wrongdoing and the restoration of social harmony. And it's played a big role in the north of Uganda, addressing the aftermath of conflict. It also supports communities to heal from the trauma of war, and it supports them to rebuild trust and to restore social order. I think any of you who follows Uganda, we are looking for someone called Joseph Kony, but we've seen a number of people that were part of his rebellion come back to Uganda, and this mato put has been used to allow them back into the community. It's quite difficult when you think about it to have a rebel that came and maimed your children, cut off their lips, and raped the girl child that's in the region, picked them from their homes, kidnapped them, took them away, and they came back with babies from that conflict. But that rebel coming back into the society, and society finding a way to even have a conversation with them. So this restorative justice model is also important because there's a sense of reintegrating. They try to integrate the offender back into the community, and it also gives the victims some kind of healing. And it's crucial for rebuilding communities that have been torn apart by conflict. And what I realize is that they feel that by addressing the root cause of the conflict, as opposed to just pushing out punishments, promotes reconciliations, and it contributes to sustainable peace and long-term stability in the region. And so this method has been used to preserve and restore and reinforce cultural heritage, ensuring that the indigenous knowledge and the practices of that region are passed down to different generations. It's done across different regions, but I'm focusing on the North because that's where I've actually seen it work. But yeah, I thought that would be my point of reflection, thinking through a practice that would benefit the world. Thank you.
Wow. Where can we order some of the gallons of that concoction so we can use it to bring greater peace in our part of the world? Thank you for sharing that. Incredible. Thanks so much. Right. To Sudan. Sorry?
To be sent to you. You have a confession.
Yeah, everyone do I must drink that concoction. I'm sure I'm going to be one of people going to drink it. I need forgiveness myself. All right, distinguished leaders, Mr. Gassim, please. Mr. Gassim, and then Zimbabwe, and then South Africa, then we are done. So thanks for your patience. Let's learn from them as well. All right, Mr. Farai himself, the chairman of the Bulawayo Business Association, that great nation of Zimbabwe. Are you good to go, sir? Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Yes. Yes. Can you see me?
We can see your handsome face, sir.
Ah, you can hear me as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. I think I'll quickly refer to my notes so that we move faster. I would just like to salute all the Zimbabweans who managed to connect to this platform tonight. Big up to Zimbabweans. And congratulations to Blessing Joe and Tawanda Moka for the successful launch of their books. To all the leaders here and everyone, much love from Zimbabwe. In order for us to truly embrace the notion that the world has become one global village, we all need to wear a new set of lenses. This means we have to take keen interest in other communities and societies in order to societies beyond our familiar traditional boundaries. Every society is shaped and obtains its value from its culture. As Zimbabweans, we also have our own culture. So Zimbabwe is a perfect place to use as a prototype to trigger a conversation on cross-culture. We have a basket of cultures. We have a basket of cultures, a basket of colors, and a basket of races here. Zimbabwe is called the breadbasket of Africa. Zimbabwe is called the breadbasket of Africa. That should tell you something. And tonight you understand why we are Africa's breadwinner, by understanding our culture. But before I tell you about our culture, let's just have a look at what it is. What is it that we call culture? It is people's authentic identity that is expressed through a number of traits, key among them being their language, their dress, their values, their rituals, their ceremonies, marriage patterns, music and arts, festivals, and religious beliefs. But this is what I have discovered. The truth is that culture is not taught, it is caught. Culture is not taught, it is caught. You have to be involved to embrace any culture under the sun. You have to go out there and interact with others. You just have to find yourself in a society or in a community in order to embrace how they live. Zimbabwean people, there are a few things that you may need to know about us. We are highly spiritual, we are hospitable, we are sociable, we are respectful, we are adventurous and very industrious.
Zimbabwe is a country of entrepreneurs. We are a country of entrepreneurs. And due to our high literacy rate, it makes it easy for us to adapt to any new environment. We easily make friends. Our strength is that being able to make friends helps us to then also want to interact, want to go out. Being adventurous helps us to travel the world, thereby helping us to learn new languages fast. There are two key cultural practices in Zimbabwe that the whole world should adopt. I am so sure if the world can learn from us and copy, we will have a better world. One of them is what we call Nimbe or Humwe in Shona, and the equivalent in Ndebele, because Ndebele is also the dominant language. Shona and Ndebele are the two dominant languages. So in Shona, it's called Humwe or Nimbe. And in Ndebele, it's called Ilima. Ilima. There's a very profound cultural practice from Zimbabwean people. And this is one of them. There are so many of them, but this is one of them. This is when the whole village or the whole community comes together to till, to cultivate, and to harvest a member of the community's field. This is done in unity, and it's all for free. It totally eliminates the burden of paying for costs.
Wow.
The community grows together, and from that, empathy becomes everyone's second nature. If the world should practice this, and if this practice should be adopted, none of the world's struggling countries would be poor and in debt today. Countries would stand together to fight enemies, and they would also stand together to build. There would be a sense of community. And just take a look at the war between Russia and a neighbor. Take a look at the war between Israel and a neighbor. All this could have been avoided because their bond would have been stronger than their enmity, their greed, or their selfishness. Countries within the regional blocs like SADC, COMESA, the East African Community, EU, the Arab League, etc., would help each other to clear their debts without even asking for interest. They would prosper together. When our economy started failing here in Zimbabwe, many Zimbabweans left to go to other countries in search of greener pastures. And when they did that, they started working abroad, many of them. The beauty about all this is that many started sending money back home to look after their families and relatives because of their cultural upbringing. So this has taught them to remember their beloved. Many of the people would just stray off and go forever, but the Zimbabweans never forget their own. The second cultural practice is called Zundera Mambo in Shona. Zundera Mambo, or Ispala Senkosi in Ndebele. The equivalent for Ndebele is Ispala Senkosi. This is the other cultural practice that you find here in Zimbabwe. After every harvest season, every household takes a part of their harvest and brings it to the chief. The grains are stored in what is called Dura in Shona, and it becomes like a bank. In times of lack, in times of drought, or in times of hardship, anyone can go to the chief to get food. No one lacks. Even visitors can be well taken care of. Anyone who would be in a difficult space would then go to the chief and benefit from that. So this practice totally eliminates the capitalist tendencies by some of the superpower countries that we see. Should it be adopted by countries across the globe, it will eliminate the capitalist tendencies that we see. Because there is an exploitation of the poor that's going on by the rich. All of this would stop because everyone would have a reason to stand together, to build together, and to look after each other. We become our brother's keeper. So we have these two cultural practices. Of course, we have too many of them, but for the benefit of us enjoying time, because there is time constraints, let me just go to the wisdom tips that I thought would be best for the leaders. And these I've learned from the Zimbabwean culture. The first one is be the first one, be the first to reach out and offer your hand in friendship. Always be the first to reach out and offer your hand in friendship. Zimbabweans will be the first to talk to you in a bus, in a plane, anywhere. They are the first that would reach out and speak to you. So they are always ready to create relationships. And this would work for every leader. Should every leader be able to humble themselves and put themselves in that kind of a place, then all of us would be able to talk to each other. There are people that I've seen traveling for kilometers. Many of the Zimbabweans would not be on headphones because they want to talk. But you would see some of the people are on headphones and they rarely would want to interact. The second one is be willing to go out and play with others, even if it's raining. Be willing to go out and play with others, even if it's raining. You always learn something new. This is wisdom from Zimbabwe, coming from our culture. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Kofi, and all the leaders. We love you from this end.
This is called WFZ, Wisdom from Zimbabwe Leaders. On a more serious note, I think we need to convene a meeting with the World Bank. They can learn from Zimbabwe. We cannot put our money there and get our money without crazy interests that is killing nations. All right, distinguished leaders, last but not the least. Last but not the least, certainly not the least, is South Africa. We have two ambassadors, co-ambassadors for South Africa, Princess Nikiwe Bam. She's traveling in Malawi now. And we're going to have the other princess. She is Dr. Dioman, but she prefers to be called Dr. Chichi Lion. She's the last but not the least. Let's take it from the Rainbow Nation. Also a very distinguished PALI alumni. Over to you, Dr. Dioman, Dr. Chichi Lion. Your microphone, please.
Thank you, Dr. Kofi.
Good to see you.
I've got good to see you. Greetings, everyone. I give you warm greetings from cold South Africa. Could I please share my presentation, Dr. Kofi? Is that okay? Okay. Dr. Kofi, can you see my presentation?
Oh, sorry, not yet, not yet. You can share. Your co-host, you can share.
Okay, hold on. Let me just go.
Go Rainbow Nation, go Rainbow Nation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kofi. I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Camera shy. I think I'd do better if I put the camera off. Dr. Kofi, am I presenting?
You can't present. Do you have your slides on your screen? Otherwise, you may just
Yeah, it's okay. I think what I'll do.
Just speak through. Yes.
I will just. I'll just speak to it. Okay, yes. No problem. Okay, so I get to greet everyone from sunny coast of Natal. The beautiful part of this culture is that I get to reconnect with my roots, which I hadn't done in the longest time because I'd grown away from it. So in terms of sharing about South Africa. South Africa is not only home to some of the world's best scenic views, coastlines, and wildlife, but it also boasts 8 World Heritage Sites as determined by the United States Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage Committee. Politeness is an important aspect of South Africans' culture. Religion plays a significant role in most of South Africans' families. And we basically attend some sort or form of religious gathering, very common on a weekly basis. South Africa has a rich multicultural heritage that consists of 33 ethnic groups. Now, there's an African proverb that says, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. And I absolutely attest to that because I got to learn a lot about my own personal culture. Chichi Lion is my identity in Christ. I am the child of God that loves God with all her heart. I've been in industry for the last 12 years. But what I can tell you about South Africa is that we are open-minded. At the same time, there are obviously cultural differences that we need to adapt to, and we need to be mindful of it. There is a very specific individual that has impacted lots of people's lives in South Africa, and the movement of peace from one of my forefathers was Mahatma Gandhi, and his one quote said, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow, but learn as if you were to live forever." Some of my gems, specifically for me personally and for all leaders, the 2 wisdom tips, I actually have 3. One would be to put God first. As a country, we do that, but as individuals, it is very important to acknowledge God in our lives. And in everything that we do, that we should put him first. And in everything that we do, that we ask him for his guidance. And my second tip is humanity. I want to say we belong. Actually, in preparing for this, I looked at the heritage of South Africa, and a lot of us have migrated here as Africans from different sectors of Africa because of whatever it is that brought us here. But we all belong, and it is very important as we desire for the well-being of our own nation that we must be able to be compatible and palatable to allow for the welfare of roots and identity. And a people without the knowledge of their past history, origins, and culture is like a tree without roots. So I would encourage every single person to ask the question about origin. And for me, personally, I have always identified African. It was very difficult for me to identify African Indian because there was a history that was lost to me. And as I journey with God in discovering my roots, I am proud to be South African, African Indian. So in leaving everybody with a thought, my thought in terms of wisdom would be that one would apply it, because I would pray that we all gain knowledge through understanding, but knowledge applied is wisdom. So as we all embark on this journey of networking and getting to know one another, that we would continue to learn and discover ourselves, our identity. And I think the most important one is our identity in God. There's a word of God that has encouraged me, which says, it's 1 Peter 5:10. It says, after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to be eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. So I leave you with the word of God, and I pray an abundant blessing over your lives. And I look forward to inviting everyone over to this warm, beautiful place called South Africa. Dr. PALI. Dr. Kofi.
All right, leaders, I'm giving a standing ovation to all of the PALI ambassadors. We're very humbled. We are very humbled. Distinguishedly see the incredible leaders we have within this great PALI family. We're about to close, and we're going to take reflections of thank yous. I know we all have questions, but fortunately, these are not strangers. They are PALI alumni. They are PALI ambassadors. They're all on the PALI platform. Their contact numbers are there. They'll be more than happy to share stuff with you. Like Josephine is going to be sharing about the concoction, and Dr. Chichi Lion is going to be sharing about this amazing experience she's had in her whole life. When she tells you about her story, her upbringing, the things she's been through, I mean, it's like 12 books and the businesses she's built and all of that. So all of these leaders from Mr. Farai, everyone, they're available on the PALI platform, so you can connect with them, catch up with them, and ask them your questions. But we cannot leave without expressing appreciation. And before I go to the UK for appreciation, I want you to pop up your hand and just share something you're taking away and say thank you to the ambassador. So this is a chance just to say thank you. We can't leave without saying thank you to these incredible leaders. They've poured so much into us. So do pop up your hand right now and say something before we bring the curtain down. Pop up your hand, pop up your hand, pop up your hand. Anyone, just pop up your hand or just unmute your mic and share something and say thank you, something you're taking away. Mr. Eric Jones.
I want to say thank you to all the presenters.
Sweetness. Carry on, Sweetness.
Yeah, this is really insightful evening. Great presentations and live and thank you to PALI for this wonderful experience. Plane tickets are pretty, and PALI has taken around the world. Thank you, Doctor, and all your team.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Yes, we miss Iswatini. Ms. Verna, please, do you want to speak?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kofi.
Good to hear your voice.
And
It's been a
thank you,
while.
everyone. Thank you for the great presentations. I really learned a lot today. You know, multicultural interaction is very important, because as much as we are Africans, we are not going to stay in our countries only. We're gonna travel, we're gonna see the world. So I'm very impressed about everything that was discussed today. Thank you so much. I learned a lot. I will observe, I'll be tolerant, I'll be careful not to offend anyone, I'll be empathetic, I'll keep communication simple, I'll respect humanity, and I'll make sure before I visit any country now, I'll just have to pop up and see who was in PALI, then I can, talk to them and go where I'll be heading. Thank you so much. I really
Brilliant. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Anyone else before I go to the UK? I saw my brother, Mr. Stampley. I think I saw his mic go off. Do you want to say something? Yes, sir. Please go for it. All the way from the States. Go for it, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is my first time attending one of your presentations, and it's been an awesome for me. One thing that I learned is that we need to respect our cultures, and one thing I want to say is that there's the need for us to have a fusion of cultures, not confusion of cultures, in order to promote Africa and the world as a whole. Thank you.
Very well said. A fusion of cultures and not a confusion of cultures. You have the final word, Mr. Jaula, please. And then we go to the UK.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, this is my first time, but I learned a lot. And then I was admiring my country, but when I learn other countries, I say, wow, I have a lot of things to learn again. And exactly, if I have opportunity to transform Ghana in 1 second and say I will go for Tanzania and learn how they are able to unite themselves to choose another language, I will go to Zimbabwe and that's why their friendship to go ahead and looking to be the first person to talk to you, to bring to you. Those are things that I think I will bring in Ghana to transform my nation. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Sir, you discovered that your mother's soup was, after all, not the best. You should go somewhere else and taste other soups. Well done.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, distinguished leaders. Let's go over to the United Kingdom. It takes a whole village to say thank you here at PALI. This is one of the few forums we have open to the public. We don't do this often, and this is all done for you. So it's going to take me 12 hours to say thank you to each one of our ambassadors. But we have a beautiful lady, a credible lady here, Mrs. Jeanette Harrison Cousins. She's a PALI alumni. She's a multiple award-winning leader in Jamaica. She was in Ghana because of PALI for the immersion, and that was her first trip to the continent of Africa. She didn't get to go to the slave dungeons and travel around Ghana, and she knew that Ghana and Africa, not just Ghana, but Africa is her home. We're inviting her to lead us to say a huge thank you to each one of our ambassadors. Mrs. Jeanette.
Thank you.
How has
Thank
the night
you.
been?
What a
How
wonderful
has the night
introduction.
been
Thank you.
traveling around the world?
My goodness, I'm exhausted because I've
travel
around the world, but it was fantastic. And it was cheap. Wonderful. Okay. Well, fellow PALI alumni and distinguished guests, I'm honored to be able to present the closing remarks of appreciation today. As we close this extraordinary forum on cross-cultural intelligence, we stand together in awe of the wisdom, the passion, and the expertise shared by our remarkable ambassadors and speakers. Their stories, insights, and experiences have ignited a fire within us, illuminating the power of cultural understanding and global connection. Let us carry the torch of cross-cultural intelligence forward, embracing our differences, celebrating our diversities, and fostering a world where empathy, compassion, and inclusivity thrive. To our esteemed ambassadors, speakers, we offer our deepest gratitude for illuminating our path. Your impact will resonate with us, inspiring a brighter future for all of us. PALI, we thank you again, Dr. Kofi, for always finding these gems for us to be included in. Thank you, and let us continue to shine together.
It's too quick. We're just enjoying all that you're saying. All right, leaders, we're missing you already.
You said
do come back, for all the other courses. We do have the political leadership course starting up on Saturday. But unmute your microphones at this time, as we always do. Oh, thank you again, Dr. Chichi Lion. Thank you, every ambassador. Well, unmute your microphones because we're gonna read our word together. We're gonna read our ethical standards together. But I want to start and say thank you so much, Miss Alicia from Barbados, ambassador. Thank you so much. From Brazil, the famous Lygia. Thank you so much. From Ghana, our amazing Mrs. Theodora. Thank you so much. From Jamaica, you got us buying our tickets to Jamaica. Mrs. Cordell, thank you so much, Miss Messi, for the incredible Ujama all the way from Kenya. And thank you for Namibia. What a time listening to the incredible nuggets from that nation of the brave. Thank you for Nigeria, the true giant of Africa. Without it, I guess Africa is coming down. Thank you for Tanzania. Oh my gosh, you got people to realize that the Amade soup was not the best after all. They need to come to Tanzania and check it out. Thank you for Burundi. Okay, it created some problems for us in Burundi. But because of that, we're all coming to Burundi. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Mr. Oscar. And thank you. We missed our brother from Rwanda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Trinidad for the opening. Thank you for Uganda. We need a concoction and all the peace and conflict resolution. Thank you, Saudi Arabia. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Thank you, South Africa, Princess, as well as Dr. Chichi Lion. And of course, thank you for Malawi. We miss Malawi, but we're grateful to Malawi as well as the United Kingdom. All right, we're at the end, so unmute yourself and let's read our ethical standard together. Are you ready? Checking your microphones. Checking your microphones. Checking your microphones. Your microphones as we all read it together. Ready? Steady and go. And of course, if you want to receive this video and you want to receive more information about PALI, do fill the form in the chat room. Let's go for it. Ready, steady, go. I am part of a global community of leaders.
I'm
part of
part of
the
the
highest
leaders,
of
the
leaders, the
highest
highest
standards.
standards.
I love
I am driven by love, integrity, respect, excellence, I understand that effective leadership thrives on one's network. Network is finance. I am committed to networking, relationship building, and learning from others. I am one of the most respectable leaders in the world.
I'm one of the most respected leaders
You
in
are
the
one of the
world.
most respected leaders in the world.
Wow.
Have yourself a lovely night. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll see you.
Love you all. Thank you so much, Jeanette.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome.